And we are live.
All right. What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother Mythos Kushmanada from the channel, Frost and Fists.
And I am El Fricalicioso.
Delicioso. And we have got two amazing guests. Big D.
Right there.
Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Well, I'm Big D, Big Gamecraft Dragon. I've been playing 40K for about 30 years now, and off and on. And I'm all about teaching people how to play and how to epic your game. And with me, I have the lovely Lady Dragon, a absolute newbie to the game, and yet very excited in getting into it and love to see it.
I am a longtime painter and crafter, actually. I've done other types of gaming, and with my husband being the Gamecraft Dragon, I started to do a little bit more.
And we have pets, so
if you hear it at all, any loud noises, that's probably it. If you'll excuse me, I have to stop a fight.
it's a house of animals.
Hey, I get it. I've got two dogs the size of horses and a little poodle-looking Ewok that runs around here too. So,
And are those of us who, or those that have been watching our show for a while, know that if Freak or I tend to pay attention to the lower corner of our screens or make little kissy faces to, the bottom corner of our screens, one of our shepherds are around. So,
yep.
all right,
Yep. So happy to have you guys on, man. So excited.
I'm actually thrilled and honored. I really appreciate you guys bringing me on. I gotta say though, somewhere on the internet. Well, I do run a channel, the Gamecraft Dragon, where I put out weekly content teaching people how to make stuff for your board. And since I've gotten back into 40K after taking a small hiatus over the last 6 months, I've been teaching people how to build lots of stuff for their board, like everything. Gosh, I'm right now, everything. Terrain's my thing. I'm a terrain guy. So
nice.
If you've seen me before, he's been recently featuring me on his Tuesday live streams recently. I still don't know why, but he does. And so my snarky self can be seen sometimes there.
Freak and I were talking after watching a couple of your Tuesday live streams, and we were really excited, and we're like, we got to invite them on, especially since you guys live here in the States, which means you're right in our time zone, right? We don't have to worry about intruding on your sleep or anything, and just the dynamic you guys have, the personality, especially Freak was like, man, they play so well off of each other. Invite them both on.
Well, and I gotta say, I learned really early on, you spend so much of your life doing the stuff you have to do. When you're not doing the stuff you have to do the stuff you love. And if you've got someone in your life, you want someone in your life that does the stuff you love with you. So being able to have somebody I can enjoy my not have to do it time with. So I often tell people she keeps me young.
That's awesome.
If he tells you I keep him sane, he's lying.
No,
As much as we love them, they never keep us sane.
No.
Well, it doesn't help that for me it was a small trip to insanity to begin with. So. But what's that saying? Of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most.
I like that one. So we've definitely got some questions to ask you guys to get to know you a little better. But before we do that, we love to start the show off with a hobby update for the week. Now, before we talk about the hobby update, I want to talk about these beautiful people right here in the chat. We've got Wolf Wraith in the chat.
What's happening?
Awesome to see you, my man. X-Gear Commander, thanks for the update. Just got your message. So, that drop into the WhatsApp group is awesome. I bought Dave Dodge says I bought the Iron Hands and Raven Guard supplements today, and I don't even know why I did, because what we have is an addiction. It's a sickness, and
Just-
I want to go out and get the same.
Like Bubba says, let it happen.
Dark Light Dreamer.
What's up, brother?
My flesh and blood here in the chat, and one of my my actual number one favorite Let's Player on all of YouTube, Dark Light Dreamer. When are we going to start seeing some Let's Plays, my man?
Right? No pressure.
Dave says, Gamecraft Dragon looks familiar. I'm sure I've seen them both somewhere on the interwebs. No, Archer, we were just talking about this. It is not my ninjas, brother. It is not ninjas. It is ninja.
I was dying laughing when I read that. We were just talking about that on the way home from work.
I love you, brother, but it's not ninjas.
You keep that up, you have to put the salt on there.
Atomic Dog Scale Model Freak. Yeah, I hear you. You have to take the garbage out, the laundry, mow the yard, fix the car, admit your wrongdoing. That's right. You have to admit your wrongdoing because
no. You never admit. That's why you have a dog. He did it.
True. That's true. Blame the dog.
I always say that you have to admit what you've done wrong or what your wrongdoings, even if you haven't done wrong, because once you get married, as much as you love them, you don't get to win the arguments no more. Yes, dear. Brian goes on to say, yes, dear. No, dear. You look great in that dress, dear. That's a survivor right there.
Yep.
Good to see you, Brian, my man.
Unless you have to be a fan of True Blood, and I get this as your maker, I command you, and you start letting out this stream of cussing.
You go put some nose on.
Oh my gosh.
Brian, I mentioned Brian was a survivor. He says, I just want to watch the game.
There are some things it's okay to do them apart. I'm going to watch a football game, honey. Go away.
Okay, fun story behind that. I'm actually not allowed to watch Packers games because for whatever reason, when I watch them, they lose.
Oh.
It's funny, we talked about that last week on the show. I feel like I have that. Whenever I'm watching any battle report, whichever team I'm cheering for, those are the ones who are going to roll like crap.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's a battle report or not. If I'm playing, I'm going to roll like crap.
That's right. Although, there's some balance last night. We'll talk about this when we get to our hobby update, but you rolled 3 rounds of crap last night, but then, boom, nat 20, you had the biggest success later on. It was pretty awesome.
Yes, it was. It was pretty
Archer says he's building his Shrike, even though he got him like Monday. That's awesome. I love the Shrike model. I can't wait to see it.
No hating, man. I'm good.
Dude, have you guys watched the bat tropes from Warzone Warlock 40K? One of my favorite bat rep channels. I love the graphics and special effects, and they have great personality. Warzone Warlock is one of.
I have to go watch one. That's not one of the ones I normally watch. I mainly am doing 40 on 30 and Winners SEO.
40 on 30. I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to go look those up.
Those guys, they're producing it like it's a television show level. I mean, it's slick. They treat it like full on, like you're watching a sporting event.
Whole production, huh?
They do cutaways where they talk to the guys about what they're thinking as a round goes on. They've got announcers. It's crazy. Really good.
That's what about Warzone Warlock. You should see they do like between rounds after they've talked about what happened, they'll cut to special effects where it'll show close-up shots of their models and actually add in bullets and laser effects and whatnot that are taking out the other side. Like this round, we the las cannons took out the Hive Tyrant, and it'll show the close-ups of the Devastators, and there's lasers coming out, there's sound effects. There's a animation of the Hive Tyrant blowing up. It's amazing.
I can do that, but that is a lot of freaking work. And then you still have to edit the darn thing.
Yeah. Hashtag worth it.
Okay, so Archer also says he loved the look on Lady Dragon's face with Big D's blaming the dog comment.
Yeah, right. She did the whole the Rock.
Um, the new one of Ravengard versus Tyrannid shows off all the new mini codex rules, which is good. Ravengard are mean as hell. They absolutely are.
Mhm.
And Dave actually has some questions for Gamecraft Dragon.
Yeah, it's already coming.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick hobby update. And before we move on to Art of the Week, we'll go ahead and have a little bit of an interview session to talk to these amazing people and get to know them. Dude, Lady Dragon has Deborah Ann Wolf, True Blood, and Daredevil. Oh, so you have the smile of Deborah Ann Wolf from True
Yes,
Blood.
she does.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Already, first 5 minutes, we have a request
Really?
for
No emo? Dude, we haven't even started yet. You're coming up with the no emo crap? Brian, go eat your taco. It's taco night.
Wait a
Eat
minute.
your
The
taco.
Raven Guard just came out.
Bring it in,
Already got
bro.
A lot of emo going on.
Come on.
You've
Come
seen their
on.
upgrade through?
Already busted on emo. You haven't even started. Eat your taco.
Speaking of emo, man, does anybody know if Zane is okay? I'm so used to seeing that guy.
God. Brian says, you have guests. Don't ruin it. These are the kind of crap we put up with, man. See, this is what we deal with.
Your love.
He's married to me. So that works.
So,
You only hurt the people you love.
And I love him to death.
Lady Dragon and Big D, because you are our guests, and also because Freak and I have really light hobby updates this week. Would you like to start us off for hobby updates this week? And kind of tell us what you've been working on, what you got going on.
All right. Well, I'll do my half, you do your half. I just built and primed a couple of Helverins, a couple of Armigers. I'm starting to build my Imperial Guard and Imperial Knights army. I think I showed this on my stream, but I'm also doing my my Shield Maiden Imperial Guard army using the Escher Gang girls as my infantry.
That was
I
my
love that conversion, guys.
And
Talking about the Shield Maidens, I really love the Psyker you picked out, Lady Dragon. Would you mind telling us what you're doing for the Psyker?
I actually attempted to tried to enter into my very first contest at a local DW store, Everchosen, and I used the Magnus of the Maggots of the Gene Stealer's Colt's body while combining it with the head of one of the Escher girls. And then I took a add-on kit for the Space Wolves and basically blinged her out and painted her completely in the Space Wolves. I have no idea where she is.
I did. She's over there in the case. We'll find her at some point.
Yeah, she's getting redone at some point, so I'm not showing you my first attempt.
But that's the big thing. We're as Space Wolves #1. I mean, sorry if anybody who's not a Space Wolves fan, but
Space Wolves.
they're what got me into the game. That's what I'm talking about. Here's the thing. I know the day. I can tell you the day I got into 40K, because I walked into my local game store, and it was the day the very first Space Wolves Codex got released.
Nice.
I walked into the store. It was my favorite game store. I was a Warhammer Fantasy player, and Fritz, the owner, was like, "Check this out. They're Space Vikings. You're gonna dig this." And he showed it to me, and I walked out of there with a 40K box set, that Codex, and 2 more squads of Plastic Marines. So, but
that story came up during the very first Tuesday talk I ever watched, and I've been watching all your live streams since then.
the other thing I'm working on, I just did all the measurements. I'll be doing the filming tomorrow. But this horrible pile of foam.
Wow.
If you watch my stream, I'm building the old Imperial Fortress. So these are the walls. That pile of foam is one of the 2 corner towers that are going to stand about that tall when they're done.
That's awesome.
I just got the first one cut. I'm doing the measurements, and I'm going to film cutting and measuring the second set so that on Sunday I can put that up. That's what I've been working on. I'm always busy.
He got really close to an open pot of paint there for a minute.
If you guys like seeing those bunker walls, by the way, go check out his terrain tutorials are fantastic. And seeing that start from just a couple of pieces, that's foam board, right?
Yeah, that's just plain, ordinary, normal foam board. That's what I start with.
Foam board and pieces of literally cereal box cardboard. And he makes that detailed of bunkers. Go check out his tutorial.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a shameless plug too, because I saw his tutorial on those crystals. Holy crap, that was so freaking cool. I watched. I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna cut his fingers off with that thing? I mean, he's just like, just cutting those pieces, and he's coming like just millimeters from his finger. I'm like, and just chopping away.
I'm not allowed to touch it.
Yeah, I love her to death, but
Shut up.
I put her on the table. Afterwards, I gotta have her go, show me 10.
Okay, here you go. Yeah, that's when the boot to the head goes.
And that's the thing, and I mean that's the big thing I always try to promote.
Yeah.
Everything I do, I try to do with simple materials.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out and buy fancy, expensive stuff. You know, the models are expensive. For the average person, the models are expensive, and they're worth it. They're beautiful. But the average person can't drop half their paychecks on making everything they want. But you don't want that to be a barrier from getting into the game.
You're right.
So I try to make my stuff on the cheap and just make it look good by using basic effects.
Yep.
Preview for you guys, Halloween is here. You want skulls if you're doing the Empire.
That's a really bad picture.
Yeah, it's a bad picture. But you know those really stupid little plastic rings you get that you see the little kids playing with?
Yeah.
Go to a dollar store. You'll find them in the Halloween section. It's $1, and it's a huge pack. It's a mix-up. It's got some bats, some spiders, and these skulls in them.
$1. I got 25 skulls here. You don't think those are going to be all over the side of an Imperial piece of terrain?
That's
Gonna
cool.
look good.
Yeah. Maybe slap some on Chaplain EMO, because I think he's missing some skulls underneath this.
Is he?
But that's the thing. That's what I'm doing. She's right here sitting next to me doing what she's working on.
Because I am going to have pity on all of you lovelies. And actually, I have added blood spatter. I am a very big fan of that. Thank you. So I recently found out about a group of Eldar forces that were known as the Ynnari, and so I'm actually in the middle of painting my Ynnari forces vehicles at the moment. I'm 3 squads in, and as soon as I'm done with that, I get to start putting together my triumvirate, which I'm really looking forward to.
That's awesome.
But
So she's officially through one full start collecting box since she started playing. Well, but I mean completely through it. One of them, and she's been painting and playing for 3 months now.
Wow.
I've lost every game I've played. I'd like to point this out.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's it for on the craft front for me. Oh yeah, and I'm also attempting to build a display board for Armies on Parade for next month. It's kind of a play off of the Kill Team board that we built on, which was the first video I actually did with him. Well, real video I did with you. Anyway, and I wanted to do a display board that had some cliffs, some waterfalls, some wicked looking vines going up the side that I can set out my Yanari on. And originally it was going to be a 2 foot by 2 foot wide board, and then he talked me down from doing it as just a pure display piece, and so instead I'm going to do a 1 foot by 2 foot display piece board.
You can actually take
really
it
cool to see.
on a shelf.
Because my shelves are 1 foot.
yeah, that would be an issue there.
So
Pretty
That's
awesome. Though.
awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. But yeah, I was so impressed.
that's actually going to be
We're going to do a second set of videos where I'm just going to put the camera on her and let her go.
and just kind of explain what I'm doing
That's
as I'm
awesome. Yeah, that's
as
really
an
cool.
overall. May the Emperor be with you. Not
And
that I
all
think
it's all for with you.
Ricolicioso, what you been actually before we talk about what you've been up to, actually the chat's going pretty crazy. Who took my dive? Steve is here, says rock on. Brian says, okay, I go eat some tacos real quick. Zane popped in the chat. He said, away from home, I'll be at the house in about 20-ish. Mark, save all the good jokes for me. Archer says, I'll try and maintain the level of crazy for the chat,
He
Zane.
usually does. Yep.
He also says, I see you giggling there, freak.
I'm just reading this thing. They break me every time. I sit here and watch this silliness.
Of course, they said that you'd be horrible at poker. You say that's why you don't play cards.
Yep.
Daka, 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 durka, durka. And then Big D, you talking about how every time you said, look, show me 10. Brian says, look, honey, I added a cool blood splatter effect on the walls.
Halloween, right?
Would you leave the terrain with the knife? That's funny.
I christen thee.
What'd you do this week, freak?
Well, you know what? It's I haven't been doing a lot of hobbying per se, except I mean we have been doing some D&Ding, which is hobbying, but I have gone to the gym, gone back to the gym again. I have not been in the gym for, my God, how old was I? No, no, I think it was probably about a month. I think a month now, because I've been going to the gym. Then I had gotten sick and I was dealing with all kinds of crap. So I'm feeling better, doing good. Starting hitting the gym. Went a good solid twice this week and worked out really, really hard. And then of course today we did the dragon boat racing, and I am just, my Fitbit said that I burned close to 4,000 calories a day. I mean, I was running the whole day. Yeah, I don't feel like, I feel like, yeah.
I can't get my arms up.
Yeah, right. I mean, and the thing is, they had us go back twice, or go back afterwards to do the rowing, and they're saying, all right, lift up your oars up. I'm like, I can't lift my hands. I can't feel my arms. Don't ask me to do things that I can't do. All right, put them in the water. I'm going to put me in the water. Oh. God, it was just ridiculous. And they had us doing dodgeball. I don't dodge. I'm more like a brick that just, all right, okay, that's my head, I'm out.
We're playing ball.
Yeah. And you know, they're like the real fluffy. They're supposed to be the fluffy. Get beamed in the head with one of those things. They're not fluffy. They left them like, okay, is that a mark or is that blush? Is that blush on my face? No, it's a freaking mark.
It's silly.
God, it's just freaking insane. And they were like, they didn't even let up. They didn't even let us take a break. They said, all right. And I'm laying on the ground. All right, we're going to go. What did they say? Oh, yeah, we're going to play human foosball. Do I look like a... So they put us in this arena thing, and we're it's our team against, you know, some other team. And we're holding on to these little sliding rails that are on a rope. Me and my buddy right here, you know, and he's from radiology or respiratory therapy, and so he goes, all right, Al, I'll go this way. You go, dude, we're holding on to these little rope things. We're kicking a ball whenever it comes up. why are you making a science out of this? It doesn't matter. One of us is going to get kicked in the face anyway. So, yeah. So, anyway, that was my entire day. And then, of course, that's when he called and says, all right, we need to go back to the boat. No, we don't. We don't. I'm going to be in traction if I keep this up. We don't. So, anyway. So, that was my day. And you imagine, we started that at 8 o'clock. 8 a.m. Central, and ended up all the way till noon. I was like, and then I had to go to the hospital. Well, I felt like I needed to go to the hospital to get, fixed. But I mean, I work at the hospital, so I had to go and work. I had to shower up and work. So I know. The saltines, fine. Here's the salt. Right. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, it was just one of those things. And why am I? Okay, I wouldn't be salty if they at least gave us breaks in between each activity, but there was no breaks. And then they say, hey, we got a great idea. Let's go head out and do this other one, this obstacle course. They call it a 3D web. It wasn't a web. It was freaking a big thing full of string everywhere, and you had to climb through that damn thing. You have to climb through it as fast as you can. Okay, have you seen me? Have you seen how I'm not a small guy? And so there's a... Go, Al, go. And I'm running through these things and I'm snagging on these stupid strings everywhere. I'm pulling the little pegs. They're caving in. So I'm looking like I'm like a big bug getting caught in a web. Like, are you freaking serious? And then, come on, you got this. No, I don't. I don't. It's got me. Do you see me wrapped up in this?
What do you mean I got this?
It's got me. Oh man, it's oh my god. Oh, my favorite, and I promise this is the last one because this one really pissed me off. They had, those stupid bouncy balls? Those not a medicine ball. It's like a gym ball, and it's got these very questionable things coming out from the top. You know what I'm talking about? I guess they're handles, but they look
the old Whammo bouncy balls.
Yeah. One of them, right? So they had a little maze that you have to. So you have to get on this thing that was maybe this small. I'm sitting on this thing. My knees are hitting the ground, and they said you have to bounce, go through the maze, and if you knock with the little tennis balls that are on the corner, then you have to start all over. Well, I didn't knock any down, but I sure as heck didn't go too far. I would bounce and roll with the ball. So I'm holding up this ball, and then I look like one of those beetles, those dung beetles, pushing a piece of poop uphill. That was me holding this stupid ball, and I'm bouncing this stupid thing up and down. And this stupid, and they're like, "Come on, Al, you got this." No, this is stupid. It's a ball, a freaking ball that you got me bouncing. I look like I swallowed my gum. My freaking gum. What the heck? No, that is not a good activity. It blows. So yeah.
Talking about that bouncing ball, Brian says he can see you bouncing on the bouncing ball like Qbert.
I look like you, except the Qbert can stay on a freaking ball all the time. Me, I went boing. Oh God! And I'm sitting laying, and my knees are killing me. And they're like, "Come on, Al, get up. We're trying to win." What? Win what? Nah, man. So yeah, that was the worst.
Run, freak, run. And good evening, Running Bear. Running Bear says they would have gotten my middle finger all day.
My God. And I wonder why I had the headache. It's like, why the heck I have a headache? That's why.
That's the only part of you that didn't get worked down.
No. So yeah, that's my day. And you know what? It's funny because I guarantee you, and I always compare this because of our relationship, me and Mythos, always happens. Okay. Usually when I have a rough, crazy day, Mythos is having an amazing day. Like he'll get free pie or free coffee or what did you get for free today, Mythos?
I didn't get anything. Oh no, I got a free cheeseburger.
see, right freaking there. You see that crap?
We were at McDonald's and picking up dinner tonight, and I looked in Lily looked in the bag and said, "Hey, they left out one of my burgers." So, I take everything in there and I show the manager, like, "Hey, I'm sorry, we're supposed to have 2 cheeseburgers from our wife's combo. She only got 1." And the manager took a quick look. It's like, "Oh, you're right. Here it is. We must have forgotten it right here." Like, it was just sitting there, freshly made, because it slid down the chute. Just as the manager turned around, she said, "Oh, this must be it." Handed it right to me. We got home, and her other burger was actually hidden, hard to see under the napkins. So we ended up with a free cheeseburger. And 2 weeks ago, I was telling Freak I went to Starbucks, and these 2 lovely baristas. This dude took my order, and then 2 lovely baristas both went off to these coffee stations, and they came back at the exact same time with my order, and they both looked at each other like, "Oops! It looks like we both made your order. Just take both of them." And I called. I was like, "Freak! I got 2 free nitro coffees. That was awesome." He's like, "Free nitro coffee." I'm like, "Yeah, look, here's the picture." He's like, "I hate you so much right now." And then so that was on Friday, and then the next Friday I called him and I sent him pictures. I was like, "Look at this! I paid for 3 pieces of chicken and they gave me 8 for free." And he's like, "Well, let me tell you how jacked up my day was."
Yep. So I know that when my day is like crap. And yes, Running Bear, that course made me want to punch someone's grandmother. That was so screwed up. I will never do it again. I'll go and do those other stupid courses, but I'm not doing that one. As a matter of fact, I see that thing, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to pop every last one of them. Bounce now. So yeah, no, man. It was freaking too much. And yeah, Mythos has this luck. So I know that if I'm having a crappy day, he's having an amazing day. Yeah, I got free food. Or yeah, man, I got this for free. And let me tell you what. I'm like, you're lucky. I love you, man.
Brian said, "You cracked me up, Freak. You need some tacos."
I do need some tacos, man.
I like tacos.
I'm kind of.
Archer says that's some of that BS Mythos luck right there. He is
Yeah,
a vampire. Brian says, "Mythos, Viva Las Vegas, let's go."
Right? Guys, I'm telling you, you will win. You well, maybe not you. He will.
I'll give him the 20.
See, that's the problem. I worked at a casino for 1.5 years doing IT support, and
Couldn't pay me.
I know.
No.
I had one of my friends who had gotten to work for the company I was working on years ago, and he actually worked at the casino as well, repairing the machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that he told me, I was like, okay, I know, because he used to work military. He was a bubblehead, so of course he was a little loopy anyway. But I said, this is almost like telling me stuff from the military. I wish you just wouldn't tell me, because I think you're gonna have us killed. Can you not?
1, 2, 3, not it.
Right?
I'm
so worked up. I gotta pee. Y'all take over.
So I guess I'll tell you the only hobby thing, and I actually got very little hobby done this week too. Last weekend, of course, I had a little case of the man flu. So we all went out to dinner Saturday night. Sunday night, I got up and nope, it was kind of a lay on the couch all day kind of day. Dealing with, being sick last weekend, I had no motivation to paint all week. This week, I was working out of town, and so no hobby done. In fact, I didn't even get time to hobby in the hotel room. Like, I had 2 days of working on security procedures. Woo! And one of the security advisors, who was a huge blessing to me, because he gave us new expectations and helped us draft a whole post of security procedures exactly we had new specifications we had to draft our security procedures up to, and he kind of walked us through all the new specifications, and we ended up with a great set of procedures. But like, Wednesday, for example, I got up at 3:30 in the morning, had to be at the site by 5 o'clock. I didn't get to leave the site till after 5 o'clock. So it was like almost 13 hours of just staring at security procedures. My brain was literally mush after that. It was the most, yeah. So there was no, and then I still had to make a 2-hour drive home. So 2 days of that, security procedures. So like no hobby got done through the week with that working out of town. And which usually at least I take a little painting project when I'm on the road, so that way I can paint in the hotel room. But with those 12 and 13-hour days, I just didn't. There was just no time to be actually painting in the hotel room. The one thing I did manage to do this week is I got a couple of things magnetized. That was literally it. I drilled a couple of holes, I put in some epoxy, and I got some things magnetized. But my jet bike that I'm using for the Wrath of Heaven, for my Con-On bike, for my new White Scars Army, I had a couple of ball magnets actually sent to me from the Magnet Baron. Really great stuff, guys. I definitely recommend the Magnet Baron if you haven't tried it yet. Boop. So with these rounded magnets, when I've got my Con-On bike with the spear, I can have them at different angles if I want.
That's cool.
I can just rotate it however I want to. They're very strong magnets. So I definitely recommend them.
What do you have on the top? Because I know that was a ball, but what's in the top?
That one's a ball, and then that one is a socket inside.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You'll notice some green stuff work here because we all know Forge World resin is kind of a somewhat brittle, right?
Yeah.
And so while I was drilling this big ass magnet hole here, I snapped off some of the pipes for the bike, the exhaust pipes. So a little green stuffing there to try and fill in some of that. It doesn't look super pretty now, but they're just exhaust pipes. Hopefully nobody really pay a super amount of attention to it.
That's one of the 30K, one of the 30K jet bikes?
Yeah, 30K Scimitar jet bike. They have a new relic you can take in the White Scar supplement called the Wrath of Heaven. They don't say the keyword fly, and they don't call it a jet bike, but they say, give this relic to a bike unit. And for the rest of the game, that unit can move 2 extra inches in the movement phase and travel over models and terrain as if they were not there. So it's like, in effect, pretty much fly. So, a lot of people model that and represent it with the Scimitar jet bike.
That's cool.
And I particularly wanted to use a Scimitar jet bike because I'm getting a spear from the Cypher Lord set, and I'm using this jet bike because if in the Horus Heresy books, there is a really cool Khan or captain character named Shaban, and he has a glaive that's called the Guandao, and it's given to him, by the Khan himself, and he carries it around for the rest of his career as, this huge honor. And he likes to ride this high-speed jet bike, this Scimitar jet bike that they've modified and made faster than the normal specifications in the book. So that way he can come for a really speeding blow and chop off the heads of his enemies with his glaive as he's speeding by them. And the way they describe the glaive or the Guandao is kind of like a naginata from Japanese, samurai movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the things he likes to do is he'll rev it up to the max speed, and then he'll leap off of the jet bike while it's passing somebody. It happens twice in a couple of orc novels where they're killing orcs. He'll leap off of it at maximum velocity and swing his glaive to carve into these huge orcs as he's passing by them, literally using himself at bullet velocity to cut through them and land on the other side, skidding in his power armor.
Actually, fun fact is the weaponry that you're actually talking about is most best known in Chinese because it was used by a warrior during the Three Kingdoms era who was known as the God of War.
She's one of the things that's great. I get into the fantasy end of things. She gets into the really esoteric historical things. If ever there's somebody with either a unique, really cool weapon or a woman with a weapon that's not expected in there. Just
Yeah, that was a part of his weaponry was actually later adopted by the Japanese, which became the naginatas, which was the only acceptable weapon that a female warrior was allowed to wield in
He's
Japanese.
good.
Yes,
He's real
women were
good.
not allowed to use katanas.
Ladies and gentlemen, I like this lady.
Hmm?
I said, ladies and gentlemen, I like this lady.
She's really good.
It's very weird. I pointed out to him a bunch of stuff that I was looking at, and I was like, well, that kind of refers back to this, and I was like, well, that's kind of a reference to that. And then at one point, I was like, wow, so the entire Imperium is basically the Nazis?
Yeah. So the White Scars, of course, are based on the Mongolian Empire, so they have
Right.
a lot
I did see that.
of influences there.
and the Guando is initially a northern China and Mongolian area weapon, so that's pretty
Right.
cool.
So I have a question for Lady Dragon, real quick.
Yeah.
Other fun fact is you mentioned the whole jumping off the back of the speed bike. That was actually considered a viable tactic within the Chinese during the era that weapon was predominant, which was circa about 200 AD-ish, when the gentleman in question, whose name was Guan Yu, actually, so that's how it got its name, he would ride this giant horse into battle that was faster than anyone in China had ever seen. They had no idea where it came from. Some historians think it might be a Mongolian war horse, as a matter of fact. And he would literally jump off the backs and just literally do this jump, spin, slice, and then just wade straight into battle.
That sounds just like Shaban.
That's so
And
cool.
that's a big thing. It's one thing I do like that they try to keep with the flavor, and that's honestly that's again one of the lovely things, one of the really great draws of 40K, that they do try to keep that flavor when they want to bite into it. I mean, the White Scars, I mean, their tactics are a lot of like the jumping off the bike. The Mongols will do that so they wouldn't hurt their horses. They jump off, let the horses rear up and back away, and they just
And it
jump
was absolutely terrifying if you were fighting them.
Wow.
I mean, unfortunately, if people want a really good physical visual representation, the Dothraki.
And atomic scale model for the Who. Yeah, if you ever want to hear epic White Scars music, Mathis, you gotta look up the Who. They're using traditional Mongolian weapons, but doing metal.
It is very awesome. Actually, our brother there in the chat, Atomic Dog Scale Model Freak, actually turned me on to the Who, and when I looked them up, I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
That's funny. So I have a question for you, Lady Dragon.
Yeah.
What is the plural for katana?
I don't know enough Japanese. I didn't know there was actually.
Take a guess.
Word.
Take a guess. Huh?
Right? Or katani.
Mhm.
That'd be funny.
Freak is just being messy. He knows this is a pet peeve of mine. So, of course, the thing most people do is they add an S on, just like we do with
Katanas.
So, like I said, I know
Katana.
But as you alluded to, the Japanese do not have a plural form, a different word, different letter that they use for plural in their language. It is just multiple of the same. So therefore, there would be a multiple katana, a multiple ninja. He likes to troll me with this.
We're actually talking about doing a skit with that.
You'd really be bothered by seeing a big pile of naginatas.
I can slap him. I am right here.
Well, the thing is, and this is touche, because earlier today, right, I was trying to, this one thing was bothering me. Our shirts, our team shirts said was it the phenomenal phoenixes? And I'm thinking, is that even right? Is that even the correct plural form of phoenix? And it's been bothering me the entire day, aside from the rest of the crap that I went through. Our shirts were just an eyesore for me. I'm like, phoenixes? Phoenixes? Is that a thing? Phoenixes? That's a plural form of phoenixes. I told him, as Mythos, what is the plural form of phoenix? Phoenixi? Phoenixes, possibly? Like, It just doesn't sound right. Oh, that bothers you? That bothers you all day, freak? Yeah, that guy really just that shirt. You wearing a shirt? That word bothered you the entire day? Like, well, yeah, it kind of did.
A potentially incorrect plural form, freak, bothered you all day. Did it grate at you every time somebody said it incorrectly? Did somebody
Where's the
show
salt?
you proudly the word on their shirts? Did it bother you every time you read those words, freak? Did that bother you?
Uh-huh.
And then I said, katanas, freak. Katanas bother me.
You do the same thing to me when you mispronounce Japanese names.
Okay, to catch up on catch up on the chat. Running Bear says, see my luck mythos be winning, then I give him 100 and he loses it and he starts winning when it's his cash. Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably the way it would work. Archer says, one of my ex-in-laws ran a casino for one of the native tribes up in Michigan. That's pretty cool. Not only no, but no. Running Bear says, bless you. And he said, very cool mythos. I assume he meant with the bike. Thank you very much. Balsa wood is balsa wood good for terrain, buildings, walls, etc.?
No. No. And I'll tell you why. Simply, it's too fragile. What's too fragile? Use basswood. It's just as cheap. It's only a little bit harder to work with, and it's much more survivable.
That's a great answer. Archer says, I've gotten some Raven Guard intercessors and reavers painted up myself. Been experimenting with different ways of doing black armor and found one I like. While talking about Shaban, X-Gear Commander said speed kills, and Archer says quite literally. I was talking about how Shaban would use the Guandao. Brian says, not a true story, Mythos. Orcs are too good. Running Bear says, I understand on the black paint I did that rusty old look, and it works for me. I like that it looks like they've been in a very long siege. That way, the way Iron Hands should look to me. Very cool. One does not simply leap over a knob, Brian says. Nice work, Mark. The best thing we do is when we let things evolve. They are damn good. Hakuna Matata. This was for the plural katana when Freak was doing it. And then you said Katani, so X-Gear Commander said Katie? Say what? And then Archer started off with the plural for katana is katana. And then to troll me, he says, ninja!
I love you, Archer.
Everybody knows it's ninja.
Brian says, naginatas, what? A naginata is basically a long staff weapon with a curved blade on top, Brian. Running Bear says, my brother says has OCD about keeping things in order, so at random times when I go slightly out of order, sometimes he randomly, intentionally goes slightly out of order and watches The Fun Begins with his OCD brother. Catch Up on the Freak sounds like a Las Vegas reality show on the Strip. Oh no, I suck again. A spear mythos. A spear. Gotcha. Yes, Brian, it's a type of spear. And the other thing I did was while I was magnetizing up my bike, I also magnetized up my land speeder, and it looks like it's magnetized a little too close to the front, but it'll be all right. But yeah, so I had a rescue land speeder I bought secondhand. It was snapped off of its flying stand, so I just went ahead and decided to magnetize her up. So that is literally all I've done this week. Oh, and I magnetized the weapon too. So no weapon, and then I could just pop my heavy bolter on. So I've got a double set of heavy bolters I made up a long time ago. Pretty cool.
He doesn't have it painted, Brian. That's why he's just showing the magnets. Just a fact that eventually he'll have it all painted up and all that. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to blur it on you. I was just showing the magnets. Can't see it spinning 50 miles an hour.
You see it?
No. Mhm.
But yeah, it's definitely not ready to show yet. I was just showing the fact that the magnets pop on and off. All right, but that is our hobby up. Oh no, also D&D real quick. Really, really great game. Nina Chick was back last night, who was our warrior in our Final Fantasy D&D RP. Which was good. We noticed that when we actually have the tank, we die a lot less.
Yep.
Um, although I still dropped once last night, but we got to the boss fight of the dungeon we were in. We actually one-rounded the boss just because we got some really amazing rolls and the boss got some really bad rolls.
Yeah, we lucked out with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Freak cast
Firebolt.
Witchfire.
Firebolt.
I thought for the boss you used the bigger one.
Oh yes. It's
Witchfire.
No, it's not. What the hell? I got it right here.
Huh?
Hang on. Oh my god.
Oh,
Witch Bolt. Yeah, Witch Bolt. Witch Bolt.
Witch Bolt.
Yep.
I used my Dragoon jump ability and landed on top of his butt. Our warrior came in and cleaved him in half with an axe, and our white mage even crit with a crossbow bolt. So we got a huge, and all of us rolled max damage. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But we used up most of our good luck on the boss because we kind of snuck around all the guards. And the goal was we wanted to make sure because we thought one of this person we were looking for was being sacrificed, and that turned out not to be the case. But he was still summoning huge demons, so we still needed to take him out anyways. So, anyways, we thinking we were rescuing someone, we circumvented the guards, killed the boss real quick, and then all the ads came in, and all the ads is what kicked our ass.
Yep. Oh, I was hiding in a little rafter up on the top by the boxes and all, so I was pretty safe. Just like, oh no, oh my god, my friends are getting hurt.
Our white mage got down to 1 HP. Our warrior downed once and got back, was rezzed. I downed once and was rezzed.
Our healer did amazing, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But overall, it was really cool, and we had some really badass loot rolls. So we've got a ton of gold, but we came to this swamp to look for an old lady's son. He's an adult son who had joined the Adventurer Guild a little too young, and he went off on a mission on his own and hadn't returned in a month. We were looking for him. We thought he was here and that these lizard people were sacrificing him and eating him, but he turned out not to be there. We actually were like going to do this mission later because we all have a different mission in the swamp, and like we were kind of doing the gamer thing where we're like, well, both of those missions in the swamp, we'll knock those out at the same time. But then we interviewed the mother who was missing, and our GM did such a great job playing a sad old lady who had lost her son, and he role played her out as having a little dementia and thinking I was her son, having come home from the swamp, right? And it's just, he really did a phenomenal job playing at our heartstrings. And it was just like the one manly tear, like Dean Winchester, like, all right, screw those other missions. We're gonna go get your son back, ma'am. So it was a good time. Unfortunately, we didn't find the boy yet, but we had a really, really good time. Freak pulled off some really huge spells.
Huge. Leave me.
I forgot to mention, we had, I've been partying in an escalation league. We had, after 16 weeks, last night was our final night in the league. 2,000 points, 40K.
How'd you do?
Nice.
I won my mission. Overall league score, I ended up second place for points. She's laughing because we also, every point you earn puts you into a drawing. Every 500 points there was a drawing for a giveaway. The big one at the end, she's laughing. It's just crazy. The guy who came in third place won. He ended up the big prize at the drawing, which was they were giving away a knight. I forget which kind it is, but it was not the biggest of the knights, but the one that's in between the Castellian and the Armigers.
Oh,
the Imperial Knight, the Paladin, or the
the Paladin. The Paladin. Who's Paladin? But it was just funny because he was in third place for points, but he has been the luckiest. He's playing a Drukari army, and his Feel No Pain has been more effective than my Death Guard's Disgustingly Resilient. And I was in half the time, including the guy that lets me re-roll ones on my Disgustingly Resilient. And he's like, I take 12 wounds. I take one. I'm going to run away now. Would you? We're going to go chase him down. Yeah. We're going to go chase him down. Yeah.
Single time he played this guy, he lost.
Every time I play this guy, it was like,
to say, I now know how to play Drukari very well.
I mean, the guy I was playing against, he's a great guy. I mean,
he's absolutely
that's the beautiful thing about this league. It's a bunch of guys that we're not playing for seriousness. We're not playing to, we're playing to get better at playing the game and get to know the armies and really get the mechanics down, which was just the great part about it. But it's just hilarious. This guy, okay, I'm going to throw 12 dice. And he throws them in the middle of the table, and all you see is 5s and 6s. It's just like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
He's using the guns that only get 6s when they're trying to wound vehicles because they're the poison weapons. Okay, well, your vehicle takes, 7 wounds. What?
I will never forget how proud he was when he managed to blow one of those things up.
Yeah, it was like, okay, I'm going to lose this game. I'm taking out that stupid, it was just. But last night, I actually had a match against me and the first place guy ended up playing out, and he's won most of our matches. He's got a really good Imperial Fist and what do you call it? AdMech soup army that's just been horrible to fight against. It was one of the main reasons I swapped out from playing my Death Guard for a few weeks and went back to playing my Space Wolves. But I played with my Death Guard last night and been really kind of tightened down that list and found some things for them that really work that I never thought about before. So they're kind of hard to play, but once you figure out the best way to play Death Guard, they become a very different army than what you normally think of them. So it's a good time. I mean, 16 weeks.
He was part of the reason I didn't want to start playing yet, because he was like, my Death Guard is so hoo-ha, I'm going to be able to do whatever I want. And I'm sitting here going, so basically my whole thing is I need to stay away from him. And then he sits down, he's actually playing a Drukari army, and I'm literally watching this guy go, literally at one point, it was a free-for-all. There were 5 of them going at it. And this dude sat in the corner of the board and would occasionally just go straight down the center, blasting the crap out of everybody, and then loop back around and go back to where he was. And then once it was down to 2 people, he just swooped in and just... That's how you did it.
So I can tell you right now already, Lady Dragon, you're a huge hit right now in the chat. So
Am I?
Also, I love, while you're telling this story, one of the our regulars, the amazing Inquisitor Zane, said, status update. Brian goes, well, Freak is salty, Mythos gets lucky, and Big D got wiped.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right. That's pretty much the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, first time last night was the first time my Disgusting Resilient worked for me. It was the first time the dice have worked well for me at all last night.
I had to walk out of the store because I started laughing.
I would get volley fire. It's like Disgusting Resilient. Did I just roll nothing but 5s and 6s? And the poor guy who's beaten me pretty handily every other time is just couldn't catch a break.
I had to get up and walk away. I was having
those moments.
To hear him yell at Geek because he's got a couple of fat boys and whatnot on the table, and they're just like letting off these volleys, and he's got this Death Guard that we named Steve because he has this big stupid grin on his face. He's just so happy to see you and so happy to be here, and he's gonna play.
If you know the Bright Lord Terminator models, there's one of the faces that's nothing but a grin, and everything else is just a solid mask of steel.
And so we started naming him Steve.
Because I'm Steve, I'm happy to be here. And because I use him with
the triple flail.
The huge flail they have.
And that is the luckiest freaking figure I have ever seen. They have lit off volleys against this dude. I mean, like, pick up 12 dice, dump them all out. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. And they're like point blank, and he's like against the wall, like,
I'm fine. Nobody hurt me. I'm Steve. I love you. And
That's awesome.
It's and that's the thing. You got to make the game fun. So,
and those kind of quirks are the kinds of things we love with people that we game with. We have this phrase because it's a meme that goes around, and it applies to the gaming group that Freak and I love to game with. It's tragedy in the IC, tragedy in character, comedy in the OOC, because we're going to take whatever that tragedy was, and it's going to be terrible in game, but out of game, we are cracking up, we used to crack up so much that in the last our role-playing game that we did with Brother Roxas, he would literally set aside entire episodes just for us to get the goofy out of our system. Like, all right, when you guys are here at the bar, that's your chance to get it all out of your system. Hey, Freak, to catch us up, do you think you could catch up the chat real quick, and then we'll go into the interview?
Yep. So let me. So yeah, they've been going crazy. So Zane's back, right? And so of course, unfortunately, Brother Mark got demoted. Let's catch up here. Mark Archer says, good Imperial fist, you say? LOL. Okay, we already covered that. Thank you. Okay. Zane says, I'll give you a good Imperial fisting if you don't give me a status update. Which is Zane. Thank you, Atomic. Yep. You sure you're not that's not a wolf? That's my line. Me taking my line. Are you sure is that a bike? Mark, you are useless. Lies. Heretical lies. Tom Dog Scale Model Freak Brian says, throw some blank dice and watch the look on their face. Then say, nice, all sixes. And Quincy Zane says, Operation Drum Titties is canceled. Operation Wank is in effect from here on out. Atomic Dog, you are my new second in command. Mark is excommunicatus traitoris. Right, man, you pissed off the Inquisitor. Second, that's first loser, Zane. This is true. That, second is pretty much first loser.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I should do it with blank dice. Yeah, I should do everything with blank dice because, hey, I don't run the risk of rolling ones a lot. But you know what? With my luck, they'll show up. Completely blank dice, but I'll roll them. And there will be a freaking one there. I promise you. While Mythos is eating pie that he got given freely.
Not a one, because you could probably re-roll the one. You get twos.
There you go. Yeah, right, you're right. Two. Yeah, two. I rolled all twos. I can't re-roll anything because,
Burning Bear has confidence in you. He says you'll find a way, Freak.
Okay, so.
You know what we got to do? We got to go to there's a place here in town that makes custom stuff. They do it out of Himalayan pink salt. I got to get some 6-sided dice made just for you, my friend.
Nice. Is that next to the witch doctor or the priest next door? Because you're gonna need both to bless them. Like, last night, matter of fact, we were playing our game, and I'm rolling my D20. I was like, come on, let's get all the rolls. Ones, twos, ones. Serious, D20. Ones, fives, what? Ones, like, really?
Yeah, that was her cleric in the last D&D game we were in together. So the party just armored her up as hard as she could. Just stand over there, sweetie, and let us get flanks. You just stand there. We're fine. You
My cleric was like the
don't
cat
dice.
that comes out from under the bed and just kind of,
Oh.
because there's a giant shield, she fit behind it, and every once in a while you just see this mace come out.
I may have to do the salt test, the salt water test, to just kind of see how they. I mean, these are clear. You figure, there's no bubble. Oh wait, no, there are no bubbles. It's pretty solid, but you never know. They're probably just not balanced. So I don't know. I mean, there's times I get good rolls, and other times it's just
Yeah. And other times he's freaked.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing of having him around, though. It's like you never have to worry about the lights flickering.
I am a good Farkle player. I really am. I swear to God, I am. I devastated Farkle because you get 4 1s, just like. I think it's 1,000. I mean, you're just racking up points like crazy. I'm like, wow, I'm doing awesome. Farkle, screw all you guys. Oh,
to go back to his point about me being a luck vampire. The one time I played with him and his wife.
Oh.
Guess who
Look at that face.
I love the expression.
Oh,
Right.
look at that face.
We played Farkle and he was there. I remember now. We had game night. Him and his wife. He came over. We played together. And guess what? I did not win. I did not roll ones. I actually rolled high. And they were all crazy.
I would like to point out that I am such a terrible player of almost every game I play. I proudly pronounce last place is mine. Stay the hell out.
Yeah, you know what? If you think I'd get used to it, and I'm like, and I even tell me, oh, I wrote my crappy roll. This might as well happen. And all of a sudden, I start feeling my blood pressure go up, and Mitho's like, "That's okay, freak. You got this." Stop saying that. I don't got it. I don't got it because you've tabled half my army. I don't got it because I'm dying. Stop
Is it
saying
bad that I want to play him just to see which one of us has the worst rolls?
That'd be great.
Oh yeah, I know.
5 rounds of nobody hitting anybody.
I can probably beat you on the low. Let me see here. I've got a 6-sided dice right here. Yeah, just for kicks and giggles. I just dropped that one. So here we go. All right, 6-sided dice. What do I have? I got a 6. Damn it. Yeah. I don't even know where that one went.
Can't even win it losing. That's bad. That's real bad.
But I don't use a 6-sided dice with D&D. Well, not often. Let's see. What is that one? That's a 5. That's a 3. That's still a hit. That's a 6. That's still a hit. There's my 2. I'm going to use this die from now on in Warhammer. This is a good 6-sided die. It's working for me. Well, that's a 2. That sucked. That's a 3. That's a hit. That's a 1. We roll 1s. That's a 2. It sucked. It's a 5. It's a pretty well balanced. It's not bad. I'll have to use that. So yeah. I mean, we did a whole. I don't know if you've watched any of our videos, but we did a whole dice blessing thing. I mean, it was great. I'm serious. It's the whole thing. You take your dice and you kind of bless them using whatever you want to do. I put in my favorite cup of Joe, right? I did an actual espresso. I love coffee, and I read some little lines. I'm like, okay, I bless thee in the name of the espresso gods, and drink the. And I'm like, yeah, this was great. Worked for a little bit. Espresso gods, just like coffee, went out like that and got the jitters.
Goes right through you.
Goes right through me. So yeah, there you go. So now I got to do it again. It's been, 3 years since we've done that? What? How long has it been?
Yeah, it's been a while, brother. It's been several years. I've been telling you for a while it's time to re-bless.
We do. That video was so much fun, though, because we were like, because he did it with a beer, right, Mythos? You put your dice in you clean the dice. You put the dice in there, and then you pour a beer on it, and you say a blessing or whatever, and drink the beer, and That's it. You got blessed dice. I did it with coffee because I like coffee. I like beer too, but I like coffee. So, I did it with that. And it worked good. We started getting some decent rolls. Now, all of a sudden, now, it's so funny. When we play, before, Mythos used to have the worst rolls everywhere. I mean, he was known as... I mean, he in the gaming community, he was just the worst. Ones all the time. And he was like, all right, well, this is going as according to plan, And so since I came on the scene, you want to say something?
I was just going to mention the one battle report we were doing, and I rolled 8 dice, got 8 ones in one round. They were all saves, or they weren't saves actually.
And so we did the blessing, and all of a sudden we've been doing this trade-off where I'll start off hot, right? All right, I seized the initiative, doing real good, and all of a sudden, bottom of turn, okay, there's my ones. That's it, gone. All of a sudden, his luck turns. He'll go really high, and then turn 2, whoop, we swap. His luck turns to crap. My luck, it's just the weirdest thing. It's like tip top. So yeah, it's just it's just so odd. Am I salty again? Is that a thing? Do I feel? I don't feel salty. Yeah, a little salty. I'm still sweating from the day. What's going on in the chat? Mythos is like Freaks Jumanji. Yeah. You know what? I think there's truth to that. I feel like at some point I'm gonna get sucked into a board, never to be seen again. While Mythos is eating pie that somebody gave him. Jerk. Let's see. Archer says, damn, has it been that long since that video? You were doing that when we first met you guys. Yeah, it's been a hell of a long time. I didn't realize that.
We've been bros for 3 years now.
Damn.
Wow. That happened quick.
That's crazy. Gods are trying to trick you. Gain control. It's a slippery slope, says Zane. At first it's rage over dice. Soon you'll be ripping apart loyal citizens with your new claw and 6 new eyes.
Told you, heresy.
That does sound somewhat like a heresy ritual.
Yeah, that does sound like that. Okay.
All right, Mythos, I got to re-bless the dice. This time we're going to use the blood of innocence.
Sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Stop making me laugh. I'm trying to do details.
Yeah, what Ronnie Bear said, what Freak does not know is Mythos has rigged the board and dice they play. Oh, no. Nope. I'm sorry, brother. I wish that were the case. Okay, so Brother Atlas, y'all probably seen him on the chat, seen him on the stream a couple of times. He comes in the chat sometimes, right? And I played against him one time, and no lie, and I have like 4 or 5 sets of different dice, and every one of them just rolling like crap. And I'm telling you, I rolled like 24 dice. Okay, I'm trying to remember. I think it was, I don't remember. It was just a ton of bolter shots. Boom. 1s and 2s. And at the time, we hadn't had the new supplement where you can bolter drill and all that, and I didn't have where you can actually re-roll 1s for hits. And I just lose my mind. I take a picture of it, I send it to Mythos. I said, this blows. And so he's telling me, because he's actually playing he's playing Chaos, right? He's playing what's he playing? Death Guard? Yeah. And I'm like,
yeah.
And so I'm like, and so he's got zombies with him too. And he goes, Freak, just use my dice. Screw you. He goes, Freak, use my dice. Just try him. I'm not touching your dice, man. Freak, just use my dice.
Get on a better bench.
So I roll using his dice, and you got to be kidding me. Would you believe that it actually worked? Out of all my dice, I roll his. It worked. I scored. I wanted to tell him, get off my property. It's done. It was like, anyway, so that was just so freaking weird. Oh, by the way, the guys count how many times Mythos licks his brush. So you're gonna see that a lot on the chat. Like,
yeah, doing it on an airbrush though, that's.
Thin line between brush licking and huffing.
He's the one who got me to do this on all my clean brushes. I just literally.
That's what I do, but the guys in the chat count how many times I do it per video.
Yeah, but you're doing it to an airbrush.
That's kind of.
I'm doing it to a paintbrush.
That's normally what I do. I was just joking with the airbrush just now.
Oh,
yeah. No, he does it with a regular paintbrush, but he does it a lot. I mean, he does. He really ingests a lot of paint. I mean, I think.
Can't be any more than Miniac.
Hey, but maybe it's colorful the other end. You're pooping rainbows, bro.
You're a unicorn. Look at you.
I knew he was special. That's why I like him. That's why he's so freaking lucky. Damn it. Now I know.
Paint liquor? Wait, what?
Nurgle loves your freak. Atlas! See, we were just talking about your ears were burning. Gosh, I hated you for that freaking game. I really did, man. Oh my gosh. Dude, your zombies suck, by the way. Your zombies suck. But yeah, I mean, I rolled his stupid dice, and his dice worked for me.
Yeah, my boys.
The dice were amazing. I rolled all mine, every last one of them bombed. And I swear, I even took a picture of it. And look, this is my life right here. So, anyway.
All right, so we've caught up on our hobbies. I'm going to go into the interview portion, if you guys don't mind.
No.
Just going to start out with a shout out to Dave. Dave Dodge says, 2 questions for Gamecraft Dragon. Number 1, over the decades, how do you think the Warhammer 40K players have changed, if at all? And I'll read you the next one after you.
Okay, I think honestly the most noticeable thing to me was the change in attitude in the casual scene. When I first got into it, the casual scene was very toxic. It was one of the reasons I stopped playing with people I didn't know. I only played with like close friends and whatnot, because there's one thing about being salty because you're doing poorly, but there's a whole other level. I know I talked about it in my stream the other night about where you're, literally cheating. Why are you cheating in a game? You're not winning. If you have to cheat, you're not really winning. And there was a lot in the casual scene when I first started playing where people just get salty, fake rolling dice, and doing things that just wasn't cool. And it just made the game, as much as I loved the game with people I knew and could trust and could play with, it made the game unenjoyable with strangers. And so at that point, I would go and play competitively. But I was a poor college student to start off with, so it's like I don't have the money to buy a competitive army. So I ended up just playing with friends and playing small fights and casual skirmishes and that type of thing. Nowadays, I find, and I know it's not the true everywhere you go, but I know in the local area, in the greater local area where I'm at, because I'm in the Milwaukee, Chicago, Gary, Madison. Anybody who watches Miniac, anybody who watches Uncle Adam at Tabletop Minis or Tabletop Minions, those guys are all actually in my area.
Nice.
And the casual scene where I'm at everybody I've seen, everybody I've met is like, wow, let's play. And everybody seems to try and help everybody else. Oh, hang on. I don't know if you know this about your guys, but you can do this with them. And it's been amazing. I mean, it's just been seeing seeing good behavior encouraged and bad behavior shunned openly by the community, to the point where, I mean, back in the day when I first started playing, you didn't see ladies playing the game. You didn't see girls playing the game. It just wasn't happening. And nowadays, I would honestly say 1 out of every 3 players that I see is, there's a female population playing games, I know at least 4 others. So I'm just saying it's great. It's great to see that the populations, it's more open and it's more kind of draw more people in. So I think that's a really good change to, miniature wargaming on a whole. So it's the second question.
First of all, I really love your answer, and I find that same. I'm so sorry, my compressor's out. I find the same, and actually the sense of community that the casual players have is what really drew myself and Freak into this game, and the fact that what we've seen has been so much that people are very open and inviting and come be part of this, and actually there was a lot of people like, let me show you how to build this, let me show you how to paint this, let me show you how to play.
Yeah.
When I first started, that it was really that welcoming sense of community was a big part, and I immediately jumped in. I wanted to jump in both feet, right? And so I jumped into an escalation league early. I jumped into a few tournaments early. Now, not everybody was like that, right? There was like, oh, this is a casual escalation league, and then like one person showed up to the first 500 points with something crazy like 90 gene stealers. And so and of course it was just for the mission contact lost. So they deep striked all over the board, had all 6 points, and they were able to draw all the tactical objectives for the rest of the game. It was crazy. Yeah. But so there was some of the kicking down the little guy when I was coming up. But for the most part, that sense of community is what got us involved. So I definitely agree with you there. And I do love that gamer girls are definitely showing up more frequently to these things. I got lucky and married the prettiest gamer girl I know. She's unfortunately not into 40K, but she does like the lore and the story and all that. But I definitely finding that more and more girls are part of the nerd scene and what we do. Yeah. I'd say there's at least 3 or 4, 5 now girls in my role playing circle, and I love that what we do is more inclusive now than it ever has been before.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things I gotta say, I was on the fence about coming back to the game after I'd finally given it up for a bit. I was really on the fence about it, and I know if you look at some of my older videos, I talk about the Kender. The Kender is a very close friend of ours. She's a close friend, don't be mean. She gets on your nerves at times, I know. But we had gone into the store. I had gone to the store with the one we refer to as the Kender, and
for those of you who play D&D, she's called that because she's about the same size and talks like one.
Like rapid fire machine gun speaking. Here's the thing. She had felt pushed out of that scene when she and I first started hanging out. And so going back, she was really kind of questionable about coming back. When we walked into the store, after about 2 minutes of talking to the guy who was showing us around, he immediately knew that I kind of knew what I was looking at. So he let me to my own devices, and he took her over to the miniatures. He's like, don't worry about the game. Let's talk about what you like and figure out things from there. So it was like, talking to her about what she wanted, what she liked, getting her input, really active listening and feedback. I mean, that in and of itself was to me amazing. And this to see when she was walking around the store, and the store has a huge bench of guys all sitting around that were painting, and every single one of them wanted to show her what they were doing and show her techniques. And it was really, really great. It really was. It's really refreshing to see the community being what I want to see the community, what I've always wanted for the community in the years and years and years I've been doing gaming. So
I'm just reading the chat. I can't stand these guys.
You love them.
By the way, Max Malaga is on, and so is Inquisitors, Elstonation.
Elstonation already. Holy crap, you're up early, Elstonation, my man. Welcome to the chat, guys. It's really great to see you guys. Really quick, while Max is on, I really want to tell everybody, if you've seen a lot of our early stuff, somebody we used to love to do shout outs to, a guy that we love following and is a really great channel, was Malaga War Games. But he really found his stride when he found that, you know, he wanted to see Spanish content and there wasn't Spanish 40K content. So he decided he was going to be that guy and made that his main focus. And once he started his channel becoming more of a Spanish only channel, I mean, he really took off. He is the Spanish channel guy right now. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah, he's got people coming in from South America, all over Europe. I mean, even Cuba. He had a guy on from Cuba one time. Like, holy cow!
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is really amazing. I mean, again, I hate the guy that sounds like that, but as the middle-aged, you know, Gen X old white guy, it's nice to see diversity that I didn't see when I was a teenager, when I was in college, in the game. I mean, it's like.
Yeah, that goes back to that inclusivity we were just talking about, which is awesome. Max has just started up a second channel called International Wargaming. And so now that's his, he's speaking in English, but he wants to build an international community, you know, to cover Warhammer material with everybody. So he's got his Spanish focused channel now, and brand new, he's got International Wargaming.
It's kind of like the International Space Station of Warhammer. Dude,
so definitely go check that out. Game Trap Dragon question number 2. I think that terrain. Do you think that terrain quality has improved in the last 30 years of 40K, or do you think it's gotten worse in quality?
Oh wow. I honestly think as a whole it's gotten better, but I mean that because there's two kinds of terrain really out there. You've got, you know, the pre-built kits that have not always been there, and especially not by 40K. There was a long period of time in 40K where they actually just had little manuals on how to build things to put on your board. And if you wanted to get stuff, you either had to figure out how to make it on your own, or you'd go get model railroading kits. And that was really where you got stuff from. I think the pre-built kits, especially, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the pre-built kits. I love the heck out of them. The quality, the capability of them, they're great. We go back to the whole on the cheap. I think building your own is better. And I think with all the resources out there for how to build things and all the how-tos, and I mean, honestly, I think YouTube in and of itself has done more for that part of the hobby I get into, the teaching people to build and teaching people to craft. I think YouTube has done more for that than you could have done with the old magazines. Because I used to be a subscriber to White Dwarf back when it was more than just a sales magazine. You look at some of the old White Dwarfs, because I know there's a bunch of online you can find, like the old ones from the early 90s, even the 80s. They had a bunch of content, then they had a bunch of tutorials, like lots and lots of tutorials in them, and then some photos and how-to guides. Heavy metal used to be a huge section in there, but then there was White Dwarf, there was Wargamer Monthly, you would get Model Railroader, there were all these magazines you get that would walk you through tutorials, but you'd have to look at static photos and kind of figure them out. Being able to watch somebody on YouTube while they manipulate and turn things and actually perform the things, I think on a whole it makes terrain and teaching how to do a physical art like that so much better. And I think, honestly, with the resurgence of model railroading, to be honest, if you want to make super top-notch, really cool terrain, you got to go watch the model railroading guys because they figure out stuff,
Yep.
make it look as realistic as possible.
Yep.
Then we got to figure out, okay, where do I draw the line between it's super cool, but I'm not worried about it breaking into a billion pieces if someone knocks it over.
Right.
So I also think the other reason it's better and getting better these days, I haven't gone this far, but we're really looking at it. I think 3D printing is, I know a lot of people hate on 3D printing. I think 3D printing is a boon for the hobby on a whole.
Yep.
Not talking about printing your own figures, not talking about making copies or any of the illegal things. I don't even want to say illegal, but let's say copyright infringement type things to do with it. Technically, if you're not selling them, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
It's in that weird gray area. But just talking about making stuff, 3D printing is absolutely the future. In making 3D bits.
Right.
I mean, look at Shapeways. I've been looking at Shapeways like crazy, going, just the little bits you can get that aren't 40K produced bits, but like I want to do my own custom chapter, and I want the really cool shoulder pads like the White Scars have or the Wolves have, but my symbol is a symbol that they don't make.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out to Shapeways and find it, or you can buy the file, and if you have a 3D printer, you can print your own. And the fact that you can get a really good 3D printer, there you go. The fact that you can get a 3D printer right now on Amazon, that an Ender 3 for under $250, that printer will pay for itself in 6 months of work. It's crazy. So I think terrain's gotten better on a whole, and I think the sharing of knowledge is a big part of it.
So, Mythos, if you don't mind, you want to cover some more of the chat before I go into the next question? Because this one's coming from Inquisitor Zane.
Sure. I just wanted to, and feel free to respond to any of his answers as well. But I definitely, I have to agree with all of the points that Big D just brought up, because, like, it's true. I mean, Games Workshop used to actually drive the, before we started doing it here on YouTube, and not just like us, but like, this YouTube community in general started driving trash terrain. I mean, Games Workshop used to drive it as well in their own magazines, right? And now, of course, like Skarner says in the chat, that they realize now, hey, wait a minute, we can make bucket loads of money off of this. And they, don't get me wrong, they produce the plastic kits are really high quality, really great stuff. I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting about this compressor. But I mean, really, just high quality stuff. I mean, it looks great, but I don't want to shell out $60 every time I want a new piece of terrain, you know.
And that's, again, the reason I did like some of the unboxings I've done is because I look for those value packs, like the terrain boxes that they do for a kill team, which had $300 of terrain or $200 of terrain in a starter set, or a smaller box that's got $100 of terrain for $50 in it. The couple of pieces you get with every unit that pays for the unit, and you get the terrain for free. That's why I always try to push people. Go for combos. Go for the combo meal. Supersize it. You go for it. Get your most out of your hobby dollars. The funny thing is, you showed earlier, Mythos, what came of one of the very first trash pieces they ever came up with. That land speeder started off as a kit that they had an instruction in one of the really early White Dwarfs after 40K came out. They're like, okay, so you take this deodorant box or this deodorant stick that you've used up, and they had a demo on how to cut pieces out to make, we're going to call it a land speeder. So the original land speeders, and they had rules for it, and it was official. They were originally just made from the underarm deodorant sticks. The cases for that. So
that's cool.
I had seen pictures of those instructions I always thought it was urban myth, but wow, the first land speeder model was deodorant stick, huh?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Which is why they have never changed their shape, even through, multiple years, because it was just staying true to that original design.
An atomic scale model freak says, "By Menon."
So speaking of terrain, I'd like to. Well, no, you know what? You're right. We do have some other questions in the chat. I'll save my questions for later.
Yeah.
All right. So catching up with the chat. Holy crap. Freak Shimanji, yeah. Airbrush Slurps. He only does it on the tip. Just the tip is everyone's favorite game. He was like 60 something in an hour span. I'm not sure. Nerva loves you, Freak. Not as much as Mythos. If you,
Yeah, we're covered all the way till we got some questions. I mean, we're past all that, but I got some questions. Okay, this is who the channel is, or what the channel is all about. It's these guys that are in the chat who make. So I am sorry, but I mean, they're questions from the group, and I know they want to be a part of it, and we're gonna fulfill that. So first question for you: have you ever done a heresy?
Yes.
Yes, regularly.
Question number 2: really?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Question number 3: are you certain?
Absolutely.
No. You're never certain.
No. And question number 4:
Archer, give me my bolt pistol.
yes.
Actually, I have that, so bye now.
Question number 4: Atomic, where's my bolt pistol? Really? That's not even a question for them.
That does go with the heresy questions.
Freaking... Anyway, so there you go. We asked your questions, Zane. So yeah. Anyway,
Garner says, "You guys on about the deodorant speeder?" Yes, sir. Odd to think of any self-respecting gamer goes through a stick of deodorant.
Hey, when you're short on snacks,
and don't push the stereotype.
when you're short on snacks, it'll do. Kind of minty.
Malaga says, "You guys know that I'm going to push you to 100K subs this year, or 1K subs this year, right? That would be amazing."
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Hey, that's the thing. Point out to your guys, I'm doing a giveaway when I get to 500 subs.
Nice.
I gotta get to 500 to give that. And I got some stuff I'm giving away. One of the things I'm telling right now, I'll give it to you guys as the exclusive as the first word of it. When I get to the 5K subs, when I get the winner, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna give them a custom piece of terrain.
Nice.
That's awesome, guys. Go take this opportunity to head over to Gamecraft Dragon's channel and hit him a sub right
the living crap out of that channel. Hit the like button and the bell button so at least you can hear it when it comes on.
And I'm telling you guys, you guys are going to get some awesome terrain tutorials.
I'm telling you, the stuff is just fantastic, man. You can't beat.
Thank you.
It's just crazy. I'm telling you, I'm still stuck over the crystals. They look like freaking real crystals. And it's just like foam.
Malaga says he's been at a convention for war games here in Spain, and he met 4 brand new companies, each for 3D printing, and each of them doing different stuff.
It's amazing. I mean, honestly and truly, it is so amazing. I mean, if I could get my hands on a 3D printer, there's so many pieces. And the thing is, there's like guys that do what I do, and they do terrain, and they talk about 3D printing for the terrain and how to do the tutorials on how to build the stuff in the tools. This isn't rocket science anymore. We used to think it was, but Star Trek replicators are becoming far more realistic than we ever dreamed.
Grumpy, welcome to the show, man.
Grumpy.
Holy cow.
This is an awesome show tonight, guys. I'm really glad.
Man, we're getting
so much
bombarded
interaction.
Man, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Skarner has a fantastic question. Big D says, if you could change one thing about the hobby, what would it be and why?
I could change one thing about the hobby.
That is a good question.
That's not the hobby. Gosh. Well, okay. Two parts of that. I'm going to start with the smaller part, the 40K specifically. And this is just a pet thing with me. And it's not even fair because I'm building some right now. But I honestly would have never, ever pushed knights and things, the bigger knights, into tabletop 40K. I think they're fine for apocalypse type games, but as we saw in the meta, they broke the meta for the game for a long period of time. So, and that's the old school of me. When I play 40K, when I think of 40K, I'm throwing 50 guys on the table. You're throwing 50 guys on the table. We're throwing some dice and pushing them at each other, and whoever ends with the last mini on the table wins. You know, that's old school. But that's the kind of mini gaming I learned to start off with. So seeing somebody put down a tank, that was a big deal. I remember the first time I saw a Predator get put down on the board, I'm like, oh, okay, that's some serious stuff right there, you know? When I walked into the store and I saw two guys duking it out and one of them had 4 knights on his side of the board, I'm like, damn. So
The other guy had Mortarion.
Yeah, the other guy had Mortarion and just a bunch of other Dreadnoughts. I'm like, wow, the game has changed. So,
oh, absolutely.
I think
I got to say, you know, it's funny because I hear that opinion a lot from people who've been in the hobby for a long time, and the slow incorporation of armor, you know, they tend to have that same opinion. But what I think is actually amusing is that Freak and I, brand new people, both, I started about being, you know, around 30, right? And I've only been in the hobby for about 3.5 years now. Freak's just been in for about, what, 3 years, because we just hit our 3-year anniversary not too long ago. So he's been in about for 3 years. And so we were there for kind of the tail end of 7th, but we feel kind of the same way.
Yeah.
You know, when they released the 2-night Renegade pack, all of a sudden the meta was fully changed. And it was like 2 guys would show up to the store. You know, your group of guys who brought Imperial Knights and your group of guys who didn't, and nobody wanted to play the other group because if you didn't have stuff in your army to take out a knight, you just were going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so then it kind of became like a sickness, right? Everybody had to have a knight because they were afraid they were going to show up to a random pickup group and the other person was going to have a knight, right? It was either you were a cool kid and you had it, or you didn't and you got stomped.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to paint it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I like the idea of painting them, and now they've nerfed them, so they're very killable. But now you're taking away the mystique of what the knights were. The knights were these things that came in and ended battles. And
all right, yeah.
Now, on a whole, if you want to just talk about wargaming on a whole, I think the one thing I'd really like to change. I would like companies that run games to take a little bit more interest in tracking bad behavior. You know, here's the thing. I worked for Wizards of the Coast for about 6 years. And one of the things that they do there, if you're familiar with their other games, Magic the Gathering, obviously, and their organized D&D and their organized other games, they have a thing called DCI. And it's basically a membership card, and it tracks what you've done and where you've been and what you've gone and what you participated in. And the judges put your scores, so you have an account that they can track internationally everything you've done, including the bad stuff. So if you cheat, if you get a yellow card, you get a warning, anything like that, that gets noted. So people can't go from tournament to tournament and do crappy stuff to the guys around them, and it gets passed on because we're taught to play the games. A lot of times we're taught to just, you know, let's not worry about it, let's just play the game and not kind of be confrontation when people are really jerks about stuff.
Yeah.
And having that DCI, having that central organized kind of body that kind of passes that information along. So say a tournament organizer can go, you've got 3 strikes in the last 2 months, you're not participating in my tournament. I think if there was something like that in place, I think if ITC did that, or any other kind of body, if we ever want to see wargaming be like an esport where it's tracked and it's it's taken seriously, I think that's a step that has to happen in the hobby.
That's a really interesting point. I mean, just at first thought, you're thinking, I'm thinking, okay, well, that's going to set a precedence. And then what behavior starts constituting as bad behavior, so I think you have a good point where it's a good way to hold people accountable that are doing these things. But it will have to be regulated really, really well, so it doesn't get crazy and off the charts. Because I can see it going off the rails. But I definitely can see the positive there as well. So.
And that's exactly the thing. Like DCI, to become a judge, an official judge for DCI.
Yeah.
They've set static rules. You have to take tests. You have to regularly take tests to make sure you know the rules, know what's good, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And they don't have super high standards. They're just like, don't cheat.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk to your players, and follow the basic rules. And that's all you're really going to do.
I like the whole make a rule of don't be a dick.
Yeah.
It really resonates well with me.
I would like to think that would have been common sense, but
well, we all know that these days common sense ain't so common.
No.
Freak, I know this is all about our guest, but this is such a great topic. I want to get your take on this too. If you could all change one thing about the hobby, what would you change? D had such a great answer, man. That's going to be a tough follow-up.
I know. I mean, he's our guest. He freaking stole the show. Let's call it the Frost Fist Big Day. Honestly, besides, I have to agree. I've got to give him props for that. I do believe that, culturally, players have become very disconnected when they go to a tournament, even a standard game, and they feel that they have to, beat their chest and do a lot of grandstanding and saber rattling. For what? My thought has always been this: it's a game. Yes, games can be fun, can be competitive, but then go back to what I said earlier. It'd be fun. It's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, it's not a freaking game. It's a nightmare. And I refuse to submit myself to that kind of intentional douchebaggery. I just won't do it. So I totally agree. And if we've seen those kind of people, and it's like, okay, have fun playing by yourself over there, because we're not going to entertain you.
Yeah.
So I think in some ways, the people that do this are going to weed themselves out. It's going to be like natural selection for crappy players, because nobody's going to want to play with them. They're going to self-destruct. They're going to self-inflict their wounds, and they're going to fade away. Hey, you want to play? No. You were total douche with me. No, I don't have anything to do with you. Okay, how about you? No. I'm like, how about you? I have a cold. What? You're here? No, got to do my nails.
I have to wash my hair. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's like nobody wants to deal with that.
And so the sad thing is that what we see sometimes in the game store is that the douchebag, because the douchebag is strong or wins a lot or whatever, unfortunately, idolized. Sometimes they want to be like that guy. They want to hang around him. They hope one day they get like him, and it gets replicated over and over again. So you have the intentional douchebaggery with minion douchebaggery.
That's exactly right. And so you've got the followers who want to be that mega douchebaggery because they think that, okay, well, one day I aspire to be the biggest douchebag around and drive a white truck and cut off people. What?
And this goes back to what we were saying before about cheaters and stuff like that. Like psychologically, they've done studies, and that douchebag cheat, win at all costs. You know, stomp the noob's face into the ground. You know, beat my chest and dominate, piss on my opponents. That's all a form of psychosis, right? It's the same psychopathy that applies that makes businessmen successful, right? That same cutthroat kind of attitude, but it's also the ones that turn people into serial killers.
Small pee.
So, you know, it's all, yeah. I have a small PP, so I must become a PP.
Right. A big PP.
Couple of things here.
Head.
D had a comment about the, well, I mean, he had a good little talk about the Knights. Zane says he had a guy show up to a 500-point game with a single night. Crazy. Zane said he always did 5,000-point games, and 7th was his friends, and he never did bring more than one night to a competitive game. And he mostly got his nights to hold off his friends' orc stompas at the time.
And that's legit. That's perfectly legit. We've been in games where one guy would actually bring in 3 or 4 nights. Like, have fun with that. And that was the 7th edition, you know? And like, remember that Mythos? And we're like, oh, look how cute. Oh, they're pretty. We're like, wow, you did a great job on them. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous work. Love it. Bye.
Yep. One of our friends showed up with 14 nights at one game, and we're like, he's like, "Who? You want a game? Nope. Do you want a game? Nope."
I can look in the mirror and self-deprecate.
Points in the what are the little tiny Tyranid guys?
No, seriously, if I want to feel bad, I'll just look in the mirror. I can do that all by myself. I don't need to play this uber cheesy son of a gun. No, I can. Oh, look, I'm fat. Okay, I feel good now. Bye.
Skarner says there's far too much emphasis on winning at all costs rather than enjoying the game.
It's so true, man.
I agree.
People have the belief that it's a pay to win, not play.
Right.
And that's a big thing. I totally agree. I mean, there's just, and that's one of the reasons I really like playing the casual league games, because we're all there. Hey, hey, I don't know if you realize that, but you move this guy to move out of the line of sight. You really want to look at everything around you, because I got all these guys over here that you just walked yourself on the open with. I mean, it's okay to not always have to win. I mean, teeth out. If you're trying to win, that's no problem. You don't want to go, well, he didn't mean to do that, so I'm not going to shoot him there. I mean, that's dumb. That's just dumb. But at the same time, oh, you took it out of the model. You're done moving it, right? Let me roll my dice. That's not what the game's about. There's, to go back to D&D. D&D, I guess, is the perfect example of it. If you guys go back to the very first D&D, one of the main rules before all the game rules, make sure you're having fun. It's literally in the rule book. Make sure you're having fun. So, I mean, it's a game in the end. We're supposed to be doing it for enjoyability. If you're not enjoying it, find somebody else to play with.
I gotta apologize because we kind of skipped over one of Archer's or Mark's questions.
Oh yeah, I'm going back to it. It's just some of the questions, the comments below pertain to the same subject. So
okay, that's fine. Let me know when you're ready to go back to that one.
Elstadation says, but we'll also get more cool people to play against. Absolutely, we're talking about the douchebags that we've encountered in the hobby, but by and large, we've encountered way more positive people in the hobby.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to what I've been saying, the change in the hobby. When I started, there were more douchebags than nice people. Nowadays, the douchebags are very far and few in between, and they get highlighted because people don't accept that kind of attitude.
Right.
But unfortunately, because we are taught in nice society to not be so hyper-confrontational, they tend to get away with it. And that's where the problem really comes about.
They're not holding them accountable.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Speaking of which, Grumpy has a really, really interesting take on this same topic. He says, in my hometown, all the players are power players, and even the new ones just want to win. They're not really that interested in just playing. If they don't have the models to win, they don't want to play at all. And, to show that, people weren't really on the up and up, right? It was that win at all costs that we were just talking about. He says, when I started to record my games, they just stopped playing me. And that's when people don't want to get caught. So one of the interesting things, Freak and I have a story about, and I think I mentioned on your live stream, we had one person during one of the escalation leagues we were doing, where they had convinced, and it was mostly all new players in this league. It was kind of, and we were all new at the time, including myself, Freak, and they had, and it was one of those. I don't think they were really intending to cheat, but one of those conveniently remembered my rules a little differently, right?
Right.
And they had convinced everyone that their whole army had 3-up feel no pain and 3-up invul saves, and of course, so they ended up having the most unkillable army ever. And it was like months before this person was caught in our league, because most of the people in our league being new people, like brand spanking shiny new people, we were like, well, if you say that's what they got, that's what they got,
Yeah, you take them at their word, yeah.
And so I recorded one of these matches for a battle report, and I think that there were sometimes they didn't realize that the overhead, camera filming was going, and they were like, that's not a 3-up. And so I got spammed with comments, and I ended up having to pull that battle report because it was just, there was a lot of negativity. People were eating each other alive in the comments section, but it was interesting because I just put it up, and it was just like, oh, hey, wait, no, this guy's been playing it this way for months, and none of us caught this, but my comments section did.
Yeah, the community will come. The community will definitely come and thrash, people that try to do this cheating crap. I mean, that's one thing I do. I like our community. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
They are the backbone of what we do, man. And they hold us accountable. And there's so many times we played a game and they're like, oh yeah, Freak, you can't do that. By the way, yes, those are bikes. Stuff like that.
So, I want to give props to Grumpy Guy Gaming. I put out in our Edict Beer Unification group that how do people do the triangles on white scars? Because some of these surfaces seem too small to tape off and get those super clean triangles. But a lot of people manage to do it somehow. And so, I want to try that, but I know I can't make those sharp angles. So Grumpy immediately said, you know what? I'll make a tutorial this weekend. Boom, he's already got it done, and he's uploading it today. That's pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
Grumpy Guy Gaming, check him out. 2 questions we had earlier, and I want to put these two together because these 2 questions really feed off of each other. Brother Archer, which is, by the way, Wolf God Archer, and he has a really great question that says, what's your opinion on the new Primaris Marine kits? And something I think that goes really well with that. Brother Meeks, by the way, that's local painting competition winner, Brother Meeks says, is there still a place for tactical Marines, or is it all going to be primary?
Very good question. What do you think, Big D?
So those 2 things I think really go together because
I'm a wolf player, so let's just start there. I play wolves. I am never going to be able to get rid of tactical Marines because I need my gray hunters. I need my blood claws, and I need jump packs. So I'm never getting rid of them. I need to have my tactical captain with its jump pack and his hammer and his shield go crashing into the back line of an army. So they're never going away if I have anything to do about it.
It's so funny because by very contrast, I also am a wolf player. First love, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in tacticals. I've always felt that way. I almost never take gray hunters. Once in a while, just for funsies, I'll bring a blood claw bomb. but I've always felt like Space Wolves were just more about the elite components, right? And so, I love the Terminators, I love the Wolfen. Actually, the main reason I bought Space Wolves was Thunderwolf Cavalry. So those, I've always joked with Freak that those are my troop choices,
But again, here's the thing: Thunderwolf Cavalry, those are tactical Marines. You can't put Primaris on them, so you're technically still keeping tactical level Marines there.
True, and when I say tactical, I mean your standard like bolter.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And like I said, I think tacticals will always have a place.
I agree.
Personally.
Yep.
Now the flip side is, what do I think of Primaris? Oh my God, I love them so much.
They are such gorgeous models.
They are gorgeous figures. Yeah. They have so much place on them to do so much beautiful detailing. You guys have seen my paint work. They're so lovely to paint. There's big areas where you can just go crazy with detail, places to throw runes or extra bits and scars and slashes, and just, they're great figures. They're big, they have lots of detail, they're beautiful sculpts. I've heard people complain about the posings because they're mono pose. I hate to tell you this, guys, but I used to play with the old Marines, and every single one of those Marines that you put in the middle of your thing, every single one of them looked like they were holding their weapon in the most uncomfortable way possible and half squatting, trying to keep from all that cheese they had earlier in the day. So the poses are not the problem. It doesn't take much to take a razor saw and some plastic glue and a little bit of green stuff and put them in whatever pose you want. It really doesn't. They're such great kits. When I look at my old tactical Marines and I compare them to the new Primaris kits, the skill and detail that you need to make a Marine look good, because they're so much bigger and have such better details on them, it's easier to make them look good. Add to that to the fact that they're big. I like big figures. I have to wear readers. I'm getting old here, guys. And having to go, what is that? What is this figure? I don't have to do that with. Yeah, exactly. What am I trying to paint here?
We don't want breathing yet.
So I love them. I mean, as far as my wolves go,
He's never getting rid of those.
I run a detachment that specifically is 2 groups of Reavers and a Smash Captain and some other stuff in there, but those get dropped in the back line and come charging in with a Wolfen Stone. I mean, they're great. I love. People hate on the Reavers, and I'm like, for the Marines, they're Primaris. Their Reavers are Primaris Blood Claws. They're just elite versions of them with better stats and better figures. So yeah, the one biggest complaint you hear about them is that, oh, well, they're so generic. They're so generic. No, they're not generic. They start generic, but it doesn't take much to make them great.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, I play the Imperial Fist, and I still play my tacticals every time. I always take 2 squads. And you know what? Not only because they're classic, right? They're the starters, but they're still useful. To me, they're very useful. They still do the job.
I think as an Imperial Fist player, you get an edge with bolters, though. I have to say, I don't, and I think the new Codex makes bolters better.
Yeah.
And I find more use in tactical Marines now because you can get that -1 AP. But I literally have 0 faith in Strength 4 AP 0 weapons.
But as a Space Wolf player, what you get is, with a Grey Hunter unit, you've got 10 guys in a tactical squad, Grey Hunters, and 8 of them have chainsaws. And I'm going to charge with that unit. So now the chainsaw adds an attack, charging adds the attack, and I get a +1. So suddenly that group of 10 guys is charging into a group, and I'm throwing 40 attacks at whatever I'm hitting. That's why tacticals have that bonus, because I like intercessors, I really do, but they don't have the sheer volume of melee attacks that Space Wolves get their power from. So
that is why I like running my Blood Claw bombs sometimes.
yeah, and
It's because you load up a Storm Wolf with 15 of them and Lucas the Trickster and, you know, laughing for no
Oh
reason.
God, that is horrible.
Yep, yeah.
Freak loves when I do
Shut
that.
your face! You shut it right now.
Guys, I have going back to our douchebag conversation. Elson Nation brought up a really good point. He says another interesting thought is people having tough enough skin to be able to differentiate between banter and actual douchebag.
Yep.
Yes.
That's another.
And
It's a matter of not just thick skin, but making sure. I mean, my wife and I, we give each other crap all the time. But yeah, as you can see, we give each other crap all the time.
You want
But
some crap?
there-
Here, grab crap. Here, grab
But
crap.
here's the thing: there's a difference between I'm going to say something mean,
Right.
and I'm going to say something in fun or in jest.
Right.
And part of that is tone. Part of that is, picking your words better. And part of it's like if you see something bothering a person, knowing when to back off too. Yeah, you gotta have thick skin, but just because you're having thick skin doesn't mean you don't have to pay attention to the person you're talking to.
I have
Okay.
a theory about that.
I agree with, and this is actually a really deep topic that I think myself, Darklight Dreamer, and Al have had, or Freak have had many a time, is that moment of, so, there is definitely there's definitely room for banter, right? And no, I'm not a person who thinks that everything must be PC and everything needs to be bubble wrapped for everybody. However, I think that mentality has come so far in today's society, and I want to say specifically and most especially American society. And whereas we get so wrapped up in everybody else is too sensitive, and I shouldn't have to make everything PC, but they take that so far where it's just that whatever I say, other people need to get over it. And that lack of empathy towards your fellow man, I think, you can reach a douchebag level by itself, right? Like,
That's
when something is actually bothering someone and you persist and you're like, well, that's just because I don't care and I should be able to say whatever I want to say. That's intentionally being harmful, right? And intention, I think, is the big part of that, right? It's one thing, let me be who I am. Sure, that's fine. Be who you are, but there's no need to intentionally, kick somebody when they're feeling down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I have and I don't want to drag this out because we have some other things that we have to do, but one of the things that I found, and okay, so typically in this kind of environment, and of course in this time game, there are, and I'm gonna be as sensitive as I can be, but I'm gonna be real here. All right, there are a level of players that have issues with social skills. That's just the way it is. Okay. The thing is, we have been able to beat or be cordial in other environments, such as D&D and other type of games like that. But it's similar to MMOs like WoW, right? World of Warcraft, where you get somebody to that you plug them in and they do something stupid, while all of a sudden the whole group just hammers into them, cuss them out, and then boot them. Okay, why? Because that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying that translates to the tabletop gaming community, but it almost seems that same disconnect, that same social disconnect here, where you're losing your humanity. It's like, okay, I don't see you as a person with feelings, with emotions. I see you more as a rival, someone who I need to kill in game, in fantasy, and in real life. I mean, that's how they kind of treat you. So they can't make that distinction.
Sorry. There's also, especially with online gaming and whatnot, there's a huge anonymousness of it where people believe that because you can't see my face,
Right.
you don't know who I am,
Exactly.
I don't have to be nice to you. I mean, I'm a girl gamer. I'm a girl gamer who doesn't agree with that huge outcry that female characters need to have, non-sex armor. Screw that. If I had a body like that, I'd be wearing that clothes too. Anyway, that being said.
The lovely
Yep.
Lily.
Dude, this boy here, this man here has, just off rails a little bit, modded Skyrim. I go out of my way to get the slinkiest, sexiest armor I can find. And then I go after people with a giant two-handed axe.
I want to also just quick say, Elster Nation, that is a good question. I want to answer that question. So hang tight when we come to that one, because I want to answer that question.
I want to actually. So I mentioned that mindset is. I thought it was more of a states thing, but he says it's there in the UK as well. He says, "Sorry to drag the tone into seriousness." That was a good deep conversation, I think. Back to geekiness. Which Primarch is next? Go ahead, Big D.
All right. Here's the thing. I have an opinion, and I think there's a reason, and it hurts me to say it. If they bring back another Primarch, it's probably not going to be your favorite Primarch, whoever it is. I honestly think if they do bring back another good guy Primarch, they're going to go for one of the ones that'll either work with Gulliman on a level that he can deal with things, or they're going to bring the one to add a bunch of strife in. I honestly believe that we're going to see Lionel Johnson or Layman Russ being next to come out. Honestly and truly, it'll be one of those guys.
Well, given the situation that's going on with Lionel, it's very similar to what happened to Gulliman. So it's very likely on that front, on the good guy side, we may see Lionel first, given the fact that the same situation that woke him up can be used once again. Same, unfortunately, because of the whole psychic awakening, and it has such a big, already they're showing a huge emphasis on the Yanari group, and they have this giant presence in the webways. And they've also proven in lore that there have been groups of wolfmen that have been showing up out of the webways, attacking chaos strongholds, and then disappearing back into the webways. And the biggest thing about them that is like the most questioning is they all have the 13th.
The 13th chapter. The 13th chapter.
So of the good guys, you've got one of those two. Of the bad guys, however, as I do see that as I believe it's going to be Fulcrum.
Yeah, if they bring another good guy out, I honestly believe they're going to release both of them at the same time, and I honestly believe it's going to be Fulgrim. There's a couple pieces. If you read the books, and this is where we're picking this up from, because we've started kind of pouring through the books. Humble Bundle had a huge sale, I want to say 3-4 months ago, where for like $20 to charity, you got like 60 of the Black Library books, all in the Horus Heresy, and a couple of the more recent books. If you read everything and kind of read between the lines and some of the things that they're saying there, Fulgrim is coming back. I don't think there's any question of if, it's a question of when. Because
is Slanesh's champion.
Exactly.
And the Psychic Awakening, once again, is that...
they talk about it in the Yanari, and the Eldar.
Very heavily with the Psychic Awakening, and this is what I point out to people is to back up my belief system on this, is that one of the first things Games Workshop did is they quoted an Eldar prophecy, which is completely irrelevant right now, if you ask me, because it talks about the situation that led to the birth of Slanesh. Slanesh's champion is Fulgrim. The Psychic Awakening is very heavily already seen to be hinging on the Yanari forces as they're re-releasing Eldar named people that are lore-wise known members of the Yanari. which their whole shtick is to resurrect their whispering god, the god of death and rebirth, who is the only one they can think of that is good enough to take on She Who Thirsts, Lanesh.
So that being said, they got to bring back Fulgrim. It's just been hinted too much, but they can't bring back a third Chaos Primarch without giving the good guy one. So I think they're going to come out at the same time. And
I'm just not sure which of the
thing is that, again, tonight was actually something that we were at Kill Team before we came here. We have a regular Friday night Kill Team. Somebody I know who's in the know mentioned offhandedly, because we started talking about wolves, that he's got access to rumors. He was told that the wolves are getting a new codex before the end of the year.
Lucky them, I'm not.
Yeah, if they're no, that's not true either. But
I figured the Inari would be sometime within the next 12 months.
If the wolves get a new codex and they're going to release Layman Russ, they're probably going to put them both out at the same time, probably in time for Christmas, because they always have a big release right around Christmas. So that's for me, being in the industry for 6 years. I kind of know where the sales points go. So watch for December and November. It's going to be crazy.
I hope you're right, my brother. Same question. What do you think?
I'm so looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Layman.
I don't know. I have okay. So I've been saying the same thing about Layman Russ. I mean, there's a good possibility that he may be brought out. Of course, my all-time favorite would be Dorn, and I think he would be super pissed. Be like, hey, you know what? I lost my hand, and I come out here to look for it, and y'all screwed this up. What the hell?
I think all of the Primarchs are going to come walking out and be like,
yeah,
like,
yeah, be like, what?
Are you paying attention?
And they'd be like, what have you done? I mean, and I can see that strife. I can see that conflict with the other, with the other Primarch. So that'd be a really cool thing. But still, I think Layman Russ would be the same way because he is such a loyalist and he's old school. I think that he would definitely bump heads.
You think him and Gulliman? There's an interesting point in one of the Gulliman novels where Gulliman talks about where there's some of the Primarchs that knows are competent, and there are those that he's worried about.
Right.
There's 3 of them that he talks about as his shield. I forget the term he uses.
Yeah.
But he mentions that.
Probably.
Yeah, and they might even call it bulwark. He's like, those were 3 Primarchs that he doesn't ever have to worry about where their heart is, where their mind is, or where they go. And he knows if he were to say, I need you to do this, they'll be there for him because of that. And the 3 he mentioned very specifically are the 3 that fought him the most when he created the Astartes, which are, it's very specifically, it's Lion, it's Layman, and it's Rogel. And I'd like to see them bring all 3 of them back.
I think that would be amazing. That would make my Christmas. I would lose my mind. But,
But if they bring that many, then they have, and that's the biggest problem. It becomes an arms race.
They got to be a balance, yeah.
So, and I think, again, this goes back to what I wish.
Yeah.
If they do, I can see them bringing back. They're going to bring back Fulgrim because of what's going on with the Eldar.
Well,
I want to see them bring back. I want to see them bring Lorgar. I want to see the Chaos Undivided version of Lorgar because they've said he's a demon prince.
Right.
They've shown art of him and he's gorgeous. I want to put that on the table as the man that makes every Space Marine angry. Just because it's all his fault. It's all his fault. Everything is his fault. So,
what I think, I was just realizing another reason why Fulgrim's probably going to be coming out of the battle, the woodwork. Yvraine is literally undoing a lot of the shit he has spent the last how many thousand years putting to stone to try and do whatever his master plan is. Some perfectionist plan, probably thinks that if he can finally kill his dad, he can take over and, you know, make the Imperium perfect or some BS like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. It is Erebus' fault. Lorgar is a schmuck, but he's a schmuck with power. So.
Mythos?
All right, before we do my opinion, I want to shout out to some of the answers here in the chat. Grumpy says he wants Vulcan because he's the only Primarch with a humane heart. Elstonation and Skarnir says they just want a new Gazgul model, and damn sure he needs it. You know, it's been forever.
The orcs, and I'm going to say this for everybody, but the orcs need love. The elves needed love. They're getting it. Everybody needs love.
Our green
I always challenge when people say the elves need love because their models are some of the oldest. Their rules have been on top for the past 20 years.
The only thing I'm asking is, please, for the love of all that is holy, in the name of the God Emperor of mankind, stop with the fine cast. Give me plastic.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think their rules need the update.
You don't need to redo it. Just give me it in plastic.
I'm just saying, anytime anybody says that, I always feel like, oh, hold on. Winning rules is love. Okay? I definitely feel like, you know what?
And everyone loves the Iron Hands, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like all the memes of Ultramarines, you know, ducking in the bushes and coming out Iron Hands. All right.
Please.
Now, my opinion, freak, hit the salt. Oh, you already done hit the salt.
Oh, I'm there, baby.
All right. Salt time it is. My opinion is it just needs to be any freaking loyal Primarch. Okay? We've been sitting at this freaking 2-to-1 ratio for 2.5 years. Are you listening, GW? 2.5 years, 2-to-1 Chaos Primarchs to 1 loyal. And I am sick of the bullshit. Say what?
2.5 to 1.
We gotta have it on.
2.5 to 1.
Yeah, 2.5. That's exactly what I told Freak. Freak's like, well, he's not really a Primarch. Look at his rules. He's half a freaking Primarch. You know, I mean, the dude is a beast. 2.5 years, 2.5 Primarchs to 1. Yeah, we got Calgar. He looks amazing. He's not as awesome as Abaddon. And I mean, the freaking Chaos Primarch, especially when you walk into a store and they're like, yeah, I brought Magnus and Motari in. It's like, you know what? I can't even do that if I tried. You're freaking douchebag. Like any loyal Primarch. I don't care if it's the Khan. I don't care if it's the Lion. I don't care if you made some bullshit reason why the Angel is back. I really don't care as long as it's any loyal Primarch. Yes, ma'am.
According to rumor, for those of you who watch text-to-speech, a lot of people think Kitten is actually Sanguinius.
A lot of people think what?
That Kitten, Major General Kitten, on text-to-speech, that he's actually Sanguinius because he knows an awful lot where the rest of them were awful stupid.
Yeah, I am for serious. If they want to bring some kind of BS reason that Ferrus Manus is back as a dreadnought, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe somebody got the skull from Horus and the brain grew back all on its own. I don't care. It's a lovely model. I am bitching.
Loyalists need a figure this cool.
Right. And you know what? Like I said, I would love for it to be more cool. I would really love a Lehman Russ with the transforming werewolf mechanic like Grand Redmaw used to have. I would love that shit. But I don't care. Even if it's not my favorite, even if it's not for me, give me any loyal son. Sick of it. Sick of it. All right.
You know, there's actually been a rumor that states that there's a possibility that one of the demon princes, because he was turned willingly, he did not give up his soul, and he is the least mutated, may possibly be going back to his father's side.
Yeah, there's been rumors that one of the Chaos guys is going to get returned through this psychic awakening that's going on. So
You know, and actually, I heard that when the first 8th edition first rolled around, somebody said that they heard from somebody who works on the GW writing team that one son would turn loyal and the other one would turn dark. And I was like, you know what would be a really cool storyline is if somehow Sanguinius came back from the dead, but death changed him, and he went full on into his vampire side and went kind of chaos. Blood for the blood god, kind of like thirst for blood, with his vampire nature. I thought that would be a really cool story, especially since Angel. No, not that one. One of the Horus Heresy books is all about the Chaos Gods trying to turn him to Khorne's path. So, that I think would be a really cool if one did go light side, Six Ranger style, and the other one did fall to darkness, and
obviously then you got to bring Alfarius. He's got to come back to the loyalist side. It's been my plan all along.
So there is generally a rant filled with enough salt from Mythos to kill every man, woman, and child in the galaxy. And
Thane, I love you.
There is truth.
oh, please, for the love of Gork, turn off the salt music.
Yeah, that's the
turned on
elevator
for that.
bossa nova music that we put on for the salt.
All right. One topic I want to bring up for tonight, because it is on our thumbnail. We usually do shut it down around 11. So before we shut it down, what do you guys think about the new Primaris action figure that's coming out soon?
Primaris action figure?
You didn't see it. I
No
want.
one told me anything about this.
So cool.
It is a full, I think, 7-inch size
8 inch.
Primaris Space
It's 8
Marine.
inch.
that is a
It's 8 inch
Bandai
tall.
action figure.
It's 8 inches tall,
Yep.
50 inches of articulation, and the first thing I want to do is get one and repaint it into wolf colors and wolf.
I knew it. I knew it. I was thinking the same thing with doing with Fizz colors.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a gorgeous. I mean, I don't want to sound racist, but nobody makes action figures like the Japanese do.
That's true.
I mean, nobody makes action figures like that.
That's okay. You don't have to worry about being racist. I'm Asian, so.
That's not how that
It's okay, babe. That's totally how it works.
I'm just saying, nobody makes action figures like they do, and that thing is, for an action figure, it's on a par with the Marvel Master Series that I've seen. There's a whole line of these like super high-end figures that they do for the Marvel movie figures. I want one. I want to repaint it in wolf colors. I want to use some green stuff and make it look wolfed out. And
I think what you're talking about is the Play Art series, where they take a Marvel or DC character or Final Fantasy and they make it the quality of a $120 model.
yeah,
It's phenomenal.
it's
I actually, since you want to paint one up as a fist and you want to paint one up as a space wolf, and you guys know that I'm always down for wolfing something up, or maybe heck, I might even do it with my new project, White Scars. Maybe we should do that as a channel collaboration, and
cool.
all of us get one up and paint it up.
That'd be cool. I'm curious to see how much they're going for, though. I didn't see.
Yeah, they're probably going to be. Yeah, they're probably going to be a bit expensive. I mean, I get one. I'm going to probably try to put a 60mm base on it and use it as a dreadnought.
It depends on how it goes. Because if it goes the GW prices, it's going to be expensive. But if it goes the Bandai prices, who's actually making
it's
it,
going to be fair.
it shouldn't be more than $20.
chaos.
All right. So the last thing, Big D, by the way, we really, really enjoyed having you guys on the channel tonight.
Thank you so much for inviting us. This was really great. I mean,
You guys have been such a blast to hang out with, I got to say.
Thank you.
We didn't even touch most of our news topics. It's just
We enjoyed this. This right
awesome
here.
discussion.
This right here
And
was awesome.
This was literally just a hangout.
And, it comes back to the whole community part of the game, the community part of the hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm loving it, man. I mean, this is what we do, man. By the way, Roxas, man, I saw you came in, man. Sorry we didn't shout you out. Normally we you're so happy. God dog it, Mythos.
Carter says if they are actually $20 models, it might be cheaper to build a 40K Space Marine army with the action figures.
So
You know, that immediately makes you think, can you imagine buying enough of those figures just to play Kill Team?
that would be hilarious. That would be awesome.
There's the chant for emo.
Oh God.
Weren't you guys told not to do emo?
Well, Brian left already, so.
Elston Nation says he likes the rant section. So we do need to put up emo. We do need to put up Elston Nation of the week. I hope he's not gone already.
Elston Nation, he's still here.
And Grumpy says, Mythos, did you open the package I sent? I actually did not because I was out of town all week, but I am opening it up tomorrow. Skarner says that they're just getting folks ready for more size creep. So because the figures get bigger every edition.
Primaris Plus.
You'll be able to play Kill Team in your garage.
You know what would be fun is to take one of those figures.
Oh,
he was still alive.
there you go.
Emo.
Take one of those figures, one of the new Primaris figures. Get some green stuff, and we take that picture they have of the Emperor, doing him up to be like that on the board. That'd be
cool. That'd be really cool.
I'm talking about the Conan Emperor. You know this, right? Not the half decrepit.
No. I would do the big gold, with the. Oh yeah, that'd be tight.
All right, guys. So we're getting some. We can't leave without some motivation. So they're chanting for it. They're asking for it, and they shall get.
Oh, that's one person's
motivation. All right.
Oh, 2 people.
So, and as always, we start out with our lovely jingle that we get so excited. So it's the Chaplain EMO intro. Here it is.
And you don't know how to feel, just count on Chaplain EMO and his joy will make you squeal. So when the world is you down, you want to scream, just listen to the words of Chaplain EMO.
And this is the part where we ask.
So, Emo, there's definitely some chanting for you. I was about to say in the chat section, in the moist section, apparently. The chat section is extra moist. We all need some weekly motivation. Like I said, I came off of a bad cold earlier this week and then had to go straight to Beaumont for the week. So I'm definitely drained. Freak has been in a Ironman competition all day. He's drained. He needs some motivation. And you know what? We have a new audience for our weekly motivation right here. So, Chaplain, could you give us some guidance that'll make us feel the light of the Emperor in the coming week?
Lord Emperor, every night I talk to the stars, pretending it's you. It acts just like you, though, far away, and never replies to my questions.
Is he wishing upon a star? Or it happens?
All right, let's send somebody to give that guy a hug, and let's move on. 100.
True that.
We have a whole team, so we know every brings you up is and confirmed nation. By the way, earlier in the chat, we kind of missed. Destination is beer or so by legend in Highland.
Oh yeah.
Immortals can take power. Another immortal. Purest vessel.
Ooh.
Someday, the power.
Well, there you freaking go. Holy crap. I was wondering how he did it. Well,
I mean, right now it's time for us to play, declare Princes of the Universe, right?
there could only be one. There are true, 100%.
Where does next?
You need to understand our research team actually put their lives on the line to do this research. Some of them don't even come back.
Anyone?
Oh,
You did everyone else, freak.
sorry. Nothing?
No one got to hear my delivery.
Nothing?
Well done. Well done.
I did a good thing. I did good. I did a good thing.
You got a minus 50
golf clap.
KP and a golf clap.
Done.
All right, so there, guys, we've had our 100% true Elstadation fact. These facts are brought to us every week by our whole team of researchers, and because we want to make sure that these facts are 100% true and accurate and confirmed for you.
And he
So
never
join us
said
next
this. This is the
week when
first
we
time
have
he said
next
this.
week's 100% true Elstadation fact.
Well, how many Bothas died to bring these facts to your research team?
Say what?
How many Bothas died to bring this to your research team?
Too many to count, but I remember every single one of their names.
Yes. I have to dig them up, though. But I don't remember.
Have a great day at work, Grumpy. All right. I'm sorry. So we did closing thoughts, right? Big D, any other closing thoughts? Lady Dragon, any other closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts?
What's a closing thought?
We didn't do closing thoughts.
No, we didn't do
Anything
closing
you
thoughts.
want to mention before the end of the show?
The
All right.
Highlander reference.
Okay. So closing thoughts. To quote two very great men, be excellent to each other. I mean, that's what this game is about. Be cool with each other. Play with each other. Play more games. God, play more games.
I absolutely, positively agree. Where are all the places that they can find you? Social media, YouTube channel name, all that good stuff. Remind
On
everybody.
YouTube, I'm the Gamecraft Dragon. You can find me on Twitter. I believe I'm Adrian Drake on Twitter. That's my real name. I do Instagram also under Adrian Drake. I've got links on my channel to all my other different social media. I'm actually right now, one of the big things I'm trying to figure out is that I want to bring better content. So I need people to tell me, what do they want to see built? What do they want to learn? Tell me. I have a brain like a sponge. Give me stuff. I'll give you stuff back.
People have been giving you, one person in particular has been giving you suggestions.
And I
you
do
have,
That is something that I noticed. Your tutorials are phenomenal, and they have hundreds and hundreds of views when I see your tutorials, but you don't get a lot of comments on them.
Yeah.
So the feedback I think would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, if any of you go over from our channel, please make sure that you hit them up, you hit the subscribe, and definitely
I
throw them.
actually have something for that one, for
Which-
Troy.
what?
He's
You
waiting.
have a request already.
Easy way to paint white. All right. Easier than you think, and I can definitely show you that, especially since white scars are so popular. I got a couple of really great ways to paint white, and They only involve a little bit of white paint.
I apologize, Inquisitor. I can't drink Code Red. You guys would be peeling me off.
Oh, I love Code Red.
Closing thoughts for me. The only limits to anything you do is your own imagination.
Oh, I love that. Freak, any closing thoughts for you?
I'm in pain.
Amen, brother. Amen.
You know what? Just for you, I'm telling you now, you've given me the idea. When I'm done with this fort, I'm going to teach people how to make, for their tabletop, a dragon boat. Just for you.
Nice.
That actually would be really cool.
Actually, that would be really fun.
Creepy,
We'll just
but
do an
cool.
entire, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But it is inspired by.
I love this woman. She is my muse. So he gives me lots of good ideas.
Awesome.
That is pretty crazy.
I know that she gave you the idea for the rivets.
She did.
She did.
Like,
I'm also the one that pointed out what he was missing on the crystals to make them pop.
so
Nice.
she's again doing the hobby with someone, sharing it with somebody. It makes it better.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Again, I want to throw huge props. You guys have been such phenomenal guests, and like I said, just good people to hang out with. I'd like to send anybody that was going to listen to me over to your channel, because your teaching style is so great. Not only do you guys, if you go to their live chats on Tuesday, tell them we said hi, because their chemistry is fantastic on the show, and they do a great live stream together. But also, if you go for his tutorials, he's a really, really great mentor. And I think one of the things that really draws me to your channel is the terrain stuff, because one of my biggest things getting into YouTube was I used to just spam terrain videos and watch trash terrain and stuff like that and other similar series. Mel the Terrain Tutor, used to watch him for hours. Luke's APS.
So freaking good. God, he is so talented.
I love watching that terrain stuff. And my favorite stuff is not what the pros are doing. Like, don't get me wrong, I have mad respect for people like Luke and Mel are doing, but my favorite stuff is the people that can take absolute junk like a Coke bottle and make something amazing out of it. So one of the things I'd like to do for my closing thoughts is, do you watch any Food Network?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So one of the shows that I used to hate but then really loved was Bobby Flay's Throwdown, right? And I was like, how arrogant is this guy, going to these people's backyards and trying to outcook them? But when I really started watching the show, he would go into these things knowing he was worse at what they do. And the show is really meant to highlight and honor how awesome they are, right? In that similar vein, I'm not a terrain expert, but I want to throw down, Adrian. I want to challenge you to a trash terrain battle.
Anytime.
And I want us to do something with. I want the rules to be: it has to start as a piece of refuse. Okay, none of your super fancy. I can make amazing things out of plastic card and foam board. I want a piece of refuse, something that is meant to be discarded. Let's transform it into something basic. Huh?
Toilet paper tubes.
What?
Toilet paper tubes.
Toilet paper.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's your.
There's your challenge. We'll work this out
I'll
of here.
even give you two: toilet paper tubes and caps.
Bottle cap.
That's pretty awesome.
Bottle cap.
I love it.
Caps.
I love it. Let's do it.
That's
all right.
a hell of a
It would be
chance.
great.
You guys heard it here on the Frost and Fist and GCD, a Big D and Lady Dragon. This is fixing to go down epic.
Yeah, let's definitely keep in touch, and we'll set up when we want to do this, when we think we can make the time commitments. This is gonna be a fun little project though, because like I said, trash terrain type projects is what got me into spamming hobby videos for YouTube.
You got it.
He'll probably end up also doing a tutorial video on whatever it is he's doing to show, just in case anybody's interested, after the big reveal.
Well, that's the whole thing. If
Ta-da.
I'm gonna do it, I gotta teach people how they can do it too.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. Guys, I want to thank the chat too, man. You guys have had me rolling the entire time. You guys are so awesome. Y'all were awesome with our guests. I mean, you guys actually hold this whole thing together, you know. And want to ask you, go and support these guys. They do a Tuesday night live stream, and they do go live, and I love it, you know. And they have a great dynamic. I love seeing the two of you guys. You guys are so awesome. You have a great yin and yang, kind of very similar to what Mythos and I, you know, have. And Lady Dragon, don't hold back. Don't hold back, because, you know, your goofiness kind of sets him off, and I love it because it's a great dynamic. So it was really, really cool to see you guys. And some of these guys didn't know you were on Tuesday night, so now they do. So there you go.
Tuesday nights, 7:30 Central. I run from 7:30 Central to 9 o'clock.
If I'm not there, it's probably because I do unfortunately suffer a back injury. So sometimes I'm not able to be up right.
But the nights,
our son.
Yeah, the nights she's not here, my son Ray comes in.
Awesome.
And he's a big Imperial Guard guy, so he's all like, "Go Guard!" So
Go Guards! Blood for the Blood God!
hold
What he does.
up, hold up.
That's awesome, man. I really enjoyed you guys here. So I feel like there's an extension of the channel now. It's kind of crazy. Good stuff.
So Zane says, y'all are heretics, but in all seriousness, I had fun and you guys were great guests.
Thank you so much. And I am a heretic. I mean, Papa Nurgle loves you. He really does.
Archer and Zane said they'd already subscribed, and Archer says, you know we're going to blow up your chat on Tuesday nights now, right?
Because I got a bunch of old people that show up in my chat now. They're all like, "But that's nice."
Well,
Archer, I'll be right there in the chat with you, my man.
I think this could be construed as a threat. There, Big D.
No, darlings, that's not a threat. That's a promise.
What you get for energy, what comes in, just comes back out. You guys got this madness going on here in your chat. It shows with all the fun you guys are having here. So
yeah, they're a hot mess, and they keep. I sometimes I have to stop reading it, but
yeah, you come across one of those comments, and you're like, I can't even read that out loud, man. Thank you to our Blood Claw Chief Live Gaming. Thank you so much to our Gray Hunters, Roxas and Inquisitor Zane. Thank you so much to our Wolf God Archer. And thank you so much to everyone who was here in the chat tonight. Zane, my man, Archer, Roxas. Of course, we had just a ton of people in chat.
Atlas was on, Max, I mean, James Meeks, the whole clan.
Yep. Grumpy, Elstonation. Just so many awesome people tonight. It was just, tonight was just a nonstop chatting with our guests, chatting with the amazing chat. Of course, Brian, my man. Of course, Darklight Dreamer was here for a hot minute. Brother Atlas was here for a hot minute. X-Gear Commander here almost every Friday night. Running Bear, another staple. Really awesome member of our chat. And that as far back as my chat is allowing me to go. But thanks to everyone who was here tonight.
Absolutely. They're still at it.
Let me eat your beard hair, Painter Man.
The thought whiskers. You gotta have
he's under this impression that by eating, this holy beard hair that gives them and endues them in power. That's heretic thinking, by the way. That is why your snake bit you, Zane.
I would like to point out that I used to believe that all I had to do was drink the blood of the people who were more talented than me, and I would gain their talent.
See?
Guys, this chat got pretty deep tonight. We talked about some really serious stuff tonight.
Yeah,
guys,
I'm very impressed.
I really hope you guys will join us again sometime.
Anytime. I mean,
happy to join you guys.
Happy to. Anytime you guys want to invite me back, we'll be back. Otherwise, you'll see us in the chat when Zane's not spamming.
Or you'll see us in chat with me antagonizing him with my heresy.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed tonight's chat, then grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop us some comments down below, and if you're watching on the archives, feel free to be part of any of these insane conversations that we've had tonight. And head on over to our Patreon if you like, see what's there and see if there's anything you like. We haven't put anything up in a couple of weeks because Freak was sick and I was sick at the same time, and with both content creators down with the man flu, there was nothing happening, but we're hopping back on that gravy train. But if you are not yet subscribed to the Gamecraft Dragon or our channel, then we would love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fist. Until next time, guys, I'm going to steal this. Epic you're bored, epic you're gay. Stay frosty.
Wow. I'll say it, stay frosty. Later, guys.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you.